Ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is no stranger to Sportswire Radio, but in many ways, he's a man that gives me goosebumps. Every time I hear his name, I automatically feel like doing the Ric Flair woo, getting ready to be fired up. And in fact, I was so fired up tonight, I was even watching that WWE style Titantron of his on his Instagram. He has got a lot to say tonight. He's even got a special announcement that very well could change the face of the wrestling world as you know it. You know him most notably as the host of the Nemesis Sessions, which just had their most recent show on Friday. He is also a part of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. He runs the Promo Wrestling Federation. He has done it all. He needs no further introduction, but because he is a legend and he's got over 76,000 followers on social media, he has to get that introduction that he has deserved, and I can't wait to give him because in many ways I call him the Kardashian in social media for wrestling terms. So let's do it with further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, the legendary Nemesis James my friend, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Ask me in an hour and a half when my voice is feeling probably a lot more hoarse after that. And I almost kind of crackled in the introduction, but we certainly made up for it and some. But it is good to be with you. You've got comments already. You got people tuned in. Everybody always wants to hear what the Nemesis James Taylor has to say. And certainly you've got a big announcement, but we'll certainly get to that. But I want to talk first of all about Tennessee Backyard Wrestling because, I was watching the most recent show and I saw this intercontinental title tournament. And I would have thought with the Nemesis James Taylor and his resume, up until anniversary, being undefeated in TBW with the wars that you've had, your following, and then I see the tournament, I see no mention of James Taylor. The recent show prior to that on TBW TV on Rampage saw none of that. So I have to ask you, what is going on in Nemesis James Taylor between you and Tennessee Backyard Wrestling?
I'm probably just as baffled as you are, Tom, and the rest of the world because I come off of a loss at anniversary. It ain't no big deal. It is what it is. It was a match. We went one-on-one.
2 out of 3 falls. You and the Prophet have had a rivalry that's been, really been the talk of TBW fans for weeks.
That's true. But I guess the powers that be at TBW didn't see anything else to say because James Taylor lost, so there's really no mention of me. I think we saw Prophet recruit or get ready to recruit. I don't know what he's doing. He's got some little feud thing going on with Max Chaos. I don't know if he's recruiting them, trying to recruit them, or what, but there wasn't no mention of me. I guess TBW just don't see no value in me and what I could bring to the table. I guess
certainly that 76,000 followers on TikTok and YouTube doesn't mean much. Is that what you're telling us?
That's not what I'm telling you. That might be what TBW is telling you. As far as me showing back up, that's really on them and whenever they want me. I'm not saying I'm the biggest name in the history of the world. No, but probably for backyard wrestling, I'm probably one of the biggest draws in backyard wrestling.
I would say right now, 76,000 followers, right, between TikTok and YouTube. Who's got that following?
Nobody. Not even TBW has over 5,000 followers, 5,000 subscribers. They got about 20,000 on TikTok, so they're about 25K. And but I still have 3 times as much followers as that. You get a place like ESW or whatever that's in Texas. Great place, by the way. I've
Yes,
talked to some
absolutely.
of
We
them.
spoke about them in the past, sure.
Really, really good guys. I like them. They've contacted me. And hey, never say never. But I mean, I've got a bigger following than them. I don't care really about the following. I'm here to do my thing, and I know how to present myself. I know how to sell myself because I know what I am all about. I know
Okay.
how to
I
explain
know
to the world.
that, and I got comments. I'm going to get to people because people are fired up tonight. People are fired up. But I mean, I have to ask you at a personal level. You have done it all in this sport. You have been a legend. You have been a guy that people look to as really one of the top draws, I would dare say, all time in the history of the backyard. But are you personally upset? Are you enraged by this? I mean, you have to feel something. You've got to have an ego, James Taylor. You are basically the Kardashian of social media in the world of backyard wrestling. I mean, you got to be feeling something here. I mean, talk to the audience out there.
A rage. I mean, I'm always pissed off. I'm always mad. I'm always upset. All I look out to do, Tom, when I show up into any ring is to destroy any single person that steps foot in my way. There isn't anybody in the backyard world, and I'll say this live right now, there isn't one sumbitch in this entire backyard industry that can stop me. I dare somebody to try. For 25 years, Tom, Mr. Reverend Tom Bryce, the man who's the host of Sportswire Radio, hashtag Sportswire Wrestling. Yeah, I'm doing a little promote. I'm doing a little plug. There isn't anybody in my 25 years on and off in this business that has stopped me. They say they're going to get me in my face. They're going to tell me. They're going to destroy me. They're going to kick my ass. They're going to do whatever it is. But it hasn't been done. You know why it hasn't been done? Because they can't back up every word they say. But this guy right here, I back up every word.
Well, I have a theory on that, James Taylor, and I want people to follow the legendary James Taylor out there on YouTube at Taft Taylor, Instagram at Taft_Taylor, and also check him out on Instagram. And I will get to the comments. I have a ton of them. I promise I'll get to people. But I have to say it, and I don't even know if this is going to be a popular thing to say. Do you think that even the powers that be in TBW are jealous of the following that the Nemesis James Taylor? Do you think that that's why maybe we haven't seen you on TBW TV or even a mention of you in the Intercontinental title tournament? I mean, I saw the usual suspects, the Atomic Titan, Gage, Flair, and if it wasn't for COVID, we had Club. I mean, these are guys that, I mean, come on. I mean, James Taylor, where was James Taylor at all? Nothing mentioned. Do you feel that the powers that be in TBW are jealous of the success and of the household draw that you are?
I don't believe they're jealous. I mean, I think if anything, if they were smart businessmen, they would promote me and put me on their product because I'm the biggest draw that they've got. Whether they want to think that it's the Shade or whether they think it's the Prophet or Atomic Titan or any single person that's in TBW that's ever graced TBW, I'm the biggest draw they got. I'm the biggest reason why they're getting the following they got. If they're smart, they put me on their product and understand and tell the world why TBW is the greatest of all backyard wrestling. But apparently, they only want to put the spotlight on the ones they believe is the true artist. I get it. I understand it.
Are those artists though? Are those artists the ones that maybe they feel fit the mold of the TBW personality? Do you think that that's a possibility, the Nemesis James Taylor?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, really, I don't know. I mean, I've only been part of TBW on and off for 2 years. I mean, I was there. I debuted in 2021, September of 2021. So literally almost 2 years ago, I debuted in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. I was there for about 8 months. And they got a big draw out of me just from those 8 months. They got over 1,000 subscribers at least from me. I know they did.
Absolutely.
I leave for a year. I think I'm pretty much retired at that point from TBW. I'm just going to go on and do my own thing. But then the profits issue came up, and there was another opportunity for me to go back through the door to handle some unfinished business. And I went and I handled that unfinished business. And it's still unfinished because now We got me one, the Prophet one. So we got a rubber match that we need to do.
But he seems like he's moved on. He seems like that James Taylor. It's almost you're in the rear view mirror almost. I mean, let's get to some comments here because I want to get to people because people are fired up when they hear about the legendary James Taylor. I want to say hello, first of all, to your guest on Fridays, the Nemesis Sessions, and of course, the legendary Darkron, of course, the DKW hardcore champion of the world. I won't tell you that I'll beat you, but I'll tell you I will steal the whole damn show. Darkron, that's from Darkron. That's what he wants to say. And I actually want to give a big plug to CJ Black on this because you know what? He's speaking with what a lot of people might want to say. See you in ROEW right now. We see your value. Need someone to control the lights.
There you go. There you go. He already knows. It's a businessman right there.
Any good businessman would see that James Taylor brings ratings. But those that may or may not be labeled businessmen, the Painmaker Joshua, who, by the way, I hope he's feeling better from COVID. We certainly want to wish him very well. Says, oh, good grief, old man Taylor to stink up Sportswire. Also, CJ had a funny one. Why do you got to wear the hat and chain? Give the haters fuel. So what is with the hat and chain tonight, by the way? It's a new look here for James Taylor. You want to tell us why you got a new look?
I always done the hat. You go, why?
But we got the chain's different than Nemesis James Taylor. There's new look here with that chain.
But the chain is kind of a old, early 2000s vibe, James Taylor. And I just, I happened to come across, I was going through some things a couple of days ago, and I happened to find this old chain of mine that brought me a lot of luck back in the early 2000s. This chain's over 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
I decided to put it on because this is me. This has always been the best thing about me. One of the best things about me that brought me the best luck when it came to every fight. And maybe that's why I didn't have the luck I needed at Anniversary against the Prophet. Had I worn this, probably would have been a different story. I know it's like everybody's like, it's just a necklace. Well, this has some sentimental value to the Nemesis, and that's what it is. So now that I got it on, I can look like a tough guy all you want. It doesn't matter because it's just me. And as far as the shirt, hey, the shirt just says it all. I mean, TNJT, that's all you need to know. I mean, have you seen the back? You've seen the back, right?
Oh, I'll tell you what, 1999. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. He's leaving his mark and stunning them all since 99. I would dare say right now, he's got the best stunner of anybody in everywhere in this sport because Mr. Austin, I mean, he's pretty much on A&E these days. And Mr. Taylor is running wild. He's the one that's carrying the torch. I mean, I would dare say he's got the best stunner in the business, and that's why we've got him here. And I want to say hello to Mr. Omen Black. You know Mr. Omen very well because you had him on your most recent show, the Nemesis Sessions, and he says, nice shirt, but the foundation shirt will look better, and especially with the foundation because their numbers have increased. Dirty Donnie is a part of the foundation, and I think Nicholas Crenson might be a part of the foundation.
Can I say something to that comment?
You sure can.
Did you ever see a short that Chris Valet did with Austin one time? Somebody asked, I think it was Chris or somebody else, but they asked Austin recently too.
Sure.
What does he believe one of the most top-selling T-shirts of all time is? And he says, obviously, he don't want to toot his own horn, but the Austin 316 shirt. And he said, dare I say, some shirt that actually rivaled that was the NWO shirt.
Yeah, I heard that, yes.
The NWO shirt was really hot, but the Austin 316 one was always that much better. It's the same thing with the foundation. Hey, the foundation shirt's probably really good, but right here is really, this one's going to be the one that's selling like hotcakes, kid. So there you go.
Well, I will tell you that my brother did have the Austin 316 shirt. I had the NWO Wolfpack shirt as a little kid, and I think my brother had also D-Generation X, which I would say D-Generation X would have to be in the mix of also top all-time selling shirts. So you have to give DX also a little bit of a mention there. But the Painmaker would like to say TBW is number one because of the Anarchy King of the Anarchy Kingdom, Mr. Ledger. But, where does Mr. Ledger go from here? We had Mr. Allen on. We spoke about that. Obviously, he disposed of the Alpha Daniel Cole. We haven't really seen much of him or heard anything much of him on TBW TV. And, I mean, does he suffer from the same I guess, champion-itis as, let's say, some other champions who've been holding their title for 500 days, who you referenced on your own show. I'm sure I'll have an announcement for in a little while. I mean, you want to address Mr. Ledger and maybe some of those things that Mr. Painmaker has said here? Boy, did I know that I was going to answer, and you knew it was coming, and that's why I could see you laughing.
Let's just say that type of thing is getting stale. But
you certainly had your comments about that on Friday's show, about that one individual.
The reason these guys are holding these titles for as long as they have is because they're going through talent that isn't ready yet. Clearly, I mean, it's more power to them. They're gonna keep holding the title because they're the ones that shine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in TBW, as bright as that star is, he hasn't seen the ultimate sunshine right here. You know,
you have said you've never faced Mr. Ledger. That's never happened before.
We've had one small altercation one time, and that was in the 2021 Raging Rumble. And if you go back and watch, and it's on the 2021 Raging Rumble live it's on Tennessee Backyard Wrestling's YouTube channel. Here's the plug.
At Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on YouTube, over 5,000 plus subscribers. Go there and watch it.
Go check out Raging Rumble from 2021, and probably about 30 minutes into that Rumble, you will see James Taylor stun the ever-living shit out of the Ledger, the Shade himself. I gave him a stunner. So he knows what I'm all about. And I turned his lights out. He's the only reason he won that Rumble. The only reason he won that Rumble, Tom, is because one certain individual illegally knocked me out of that Rumble. Had he not got back in the ring, you'd be looking at James Taylor, probably a current 500-day reign as the TBW.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have a question about a new champion in TBW who's certainly not a new name, but a familiar face. I want to come to that in a second, but I have more questions I want to get through. Speaking of people who I think are going to be back on Sportswire this week, the resident rock star Sean Jovi, who, if you saw yesterday, was in the ring with the Foundation's Omen Black and Soldier GP. And Mr. Jovi, the last I saw on IMF TV, IMF Wrestling 666 on YouTube, Mr. Jovi was handcuffed while his best friend Darkfire was getting multiple concertos, and RCW Underground champion Nicholas Crenson basically told WCE to drop dead, and it's been a tough last few weeks for WCE. I mean, certainly WCE right now, I mean, they are certainly looking like they are like WCW circa 2000 right now. I mean, we certainly might have to start praying for them at this point. We'll see if the resident rock star can bounce back, because Soldier and Mr. Jovi are going to be in the ring coming up here on September the 2nd. And Mr. Jovi still has to go and face James Marshall next weekend for their Interstate Championship. More on that later, and we hope Mr. Jovi is safe on the road. Adonis Felios, the Drip King from WC, Evening Tom, and Mr. Taylor, he's digging the new T-shirt. Now, can we maybe plug the new T-shirt, where we can find that shirt and join the movement and join to support the legendary Nemesis James Taylor and yourself?
This shirt right now is an exclusive to me only. It's a test run. It's a test product, but it will be on redbubble.com very soon, and probably another one, and I will give Tom the details to that soon.
Absolutely.
As well as everybody on my social media platforms. I'll give you the details of where you can get this shirt. That way you can sport it out if you'd like.
You better be sporting it out, because you know James Taylor, and he will stun you if you don't, because he don't trust anybody, and he's been doing it since 99. Mr. Painmaker would like to say, biggest draw hot, don't be ridiculous, old man. But some would say Mr. Painmaker looks older than you, and he's apparently supposed to be a lot younger than you. I mean, that was kind of the running joke the last time we saw him on Sportswire.
Straight facts. Straight facts.
We'll have to certainly find out. TBW going strong. Keep up the good work, TBW. Yes, we love everybody to follow Tennessee Backyard Wrestling at Tennessee Backyard Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram. And I want to get to another one of my favorites, also from the state of Alabama. He is the reigning, defending Alliance Wrestling League heavyweight champion of the world, ADT. I thought Collins was on lights. I must be behind on ROEW, meaning Jacob Collins. So he means He was the one that was out with the lights out. So hello to Mr. ADT, and please follow the Alliance Wrestling League at Alliance_Wrestling_League. Make sure you follow them. Also, Alliance Wrestling League on YouTube as well. The new shirts, I think he meant to say suit you. He put sweet you. Certainly, Adonis Felius would not have won the National Spelling Bee when those things used to be a thing on ESPN. And
Yeah.
Mr. Painmaker would like to say, every man has a weakness, old man, even you.
Hey, not going to doubt it.
He says yours is time.
Yeah, mine is time. But that just shows that at my age, and I'm doing what I'm doing, every single one of those guys is going to wish when they are my age that they could still go. I promise you, and none of them.
But we act like you're 73. I mean, Flair.
I know.
People act like, listen, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Damian Priest, who's got the money in the bank, is older than you. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'm just saying. Bobby Lashley, right, was a recent world champion not too long ago, a lot older than you.
Roman Reigns is 1 year younger than me, and he's been champion for as long as he has.
Hey, Chris Jericho, who, by the way, the Painmaker I know is a big fan of. He's a huge part of things in AEW. He's a lot older than you, by the way. Just saying. Just saying.
There it is.
Let me get to this one here, because this is something that I was going to ask you, Mr. Taylor. And I don't think we need to petition for this, but I want to ask you. Obviously, we have an Intercontinental Champion now, a new one here, our first one in Mr. Gage Flair. Obviously, it was kind of an interesting finish what happened. We thought the American Dragon, Atomic Titan, had won the title, but it was found that Mr. Gage had his kind of foot, I guess, just under the ropes. They restarted the match, and the Nature Boy has become the Intercontinental title. Now, I was curious what your thoughts were on that finish, and certainly Atomic has been very critical of you here live on Sportswire, so I know you're certainly not going to do much of defending Mr. Titan, but I was curious just what your thoughts were on the new champion, Gage Flair, the Nature Boy, and if that was maybe somebody you'd like to see and square off with for that TBW Intercontinental title. You have a thought or two on those?
I saw the finish. Titan had it in the bag. Not to kiss Titan's ass. He could say
he has been no friend to you here on this show, so
he could say whatever he wants to say about me. He can believe whatever he wants in his heart. But clearly he didn't have what it took to get the job done. He failed, and that's why Gage Flair picked up the victory the way he did. Gage Flair got that belt. He's a former Intercontinental Champion, and now he's regained it. After all this time, I don't know, it's been 2 or 3 years since he's had it, and bring the belt back up to their retire, and he's got it back again. So now the question is Titan done, or is Titan going to go on? Because if I got a shot, it don't matter what title it is. Obviously, TBW doesn't want me in their championship title runs or even in the spotlight to go for a title. Clearly, you could tell that the big dogs don't want me there, because they know that I'd outshine every single person there, and I know that I would. If I went for the Intercontinental title, if I went for the United States title, I'd make those titles look better than what the world title looks. It doesn't matter what championship it is. If James Taylor's holding it, this is the key thing that a lot of these guys don't understand, Tom. And everybody that's watching might agree with me. They might disagree with me. But a lot of these young guys believe in their heart that if they're the champion, that it's going to make them into a superstar. But the real, true reality of it all is it's the superstar that makes the title.
No, I got all that. And obviously, you say a few things about that title in itself. And I had talked about the fact that you weren't even considered in that picture, and you were undefeated in TBW up until the 2 out of 3 falls match at Anniversary. So let me ask you, I mean, all these companies out there, you've obviously been called out by the IMF boys. You had Dark Crown was on the show Friday. CJ Black is obviously said things from you. I mean, Lord knows how many times I'm sure WCE has wanted you to come there. You are obviously, outside of TBW, almost one of the more desirable names out there. I mean, we've got company after company that we speak with on Sportswire. So, I mean, maybe
I got your buddies that are over there in Australia that want me to come out there.
I want to say hello to Ace Reed. I know he's tuned in from Backyard Elite Wrestling. So my point is, the Nemesis James Taylor, there's an old expression called maybe the grass is greener on the other side, and maybe these other companies for you, maybe that would be the case. What do you say to all that?
Sorry. Right when you asked me that, I apologize. Mr. Reverend.
Yes, sir.
I just got a rando text message. It just made me laugh. I mean, it's not up to me. The person that texted me, you're gonna have to message the other guy because this isn't my show. But beside the point, um, see that just baffled me. I'm sorry, Tom. What was your question again? What was your
I
question
said
again?
the point is James Taylor, the Nemesis, almost playing like the Riddler here in the old Batman shows back in the 1960s. But the point is that in TBW, right, we talked about all these different things so far. The lack of mention on TV, the lack of respect when it comes to the world title, the Intercontinental title, no mention of you. Weren't even in that discussion. So I ask you, with all these companies that we work with on Sportswire, ROEW, IMF, WCE, DKW, DBW, though I kind of see them more in the lines of resurrection at this point, going in a different direction. VTW is another one that we've picked up. We got Australia here in the house, Backyard Elite Wrestling. I even got Greece, the Greek Wrestling Association. I can go up and down. Legendary Backyard Wrestling. Let's throw them in. The point is, you ever believe in the expression, the grass is greener on the other side?
Yes, I do. And the thing is that it actually might be. There's a lot that I could say. There's a lot I don't want to say. I mean,
Well, don't say anything incriminating on
yes, the grass is greener all over. And I guess one thing about me is because I'm not held down to anybody, and I am more of a free agent than anything. I mean, I'm still going to wrestle for TBW if they want to book me. Whoever's the lucky soul to get destroyed by me, there it is. But no matter what, I put in 110% every single time I step foot in that ring. Whether it's a squared circle, whether it's just on the grass, it doesn't matter. I put in 110, 150, 200,000%. I give the absolute best every time I'm in it. So,
you better believe it. And that's why you need to follow James Taylor on YouTube at Taft Taylor, Instagram at Taft_Taylor. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryson. If you are with us on YouTube, I say hello to you and give us a sub at Sportswire Radio because we're building up the YouTube brand. Because on Facebook, where I have almost 1,900 followers, I can't stream on Facebook anymore. So we've moved over to YouTube. We're doing great. We're also on sportnarium.com/play, which is an internet radio station, which I run, James Taylor, which we format. We get people the opportunity, if they want to play their podcast on worldwide radio, we let them do it free of charge. We also play music. We simulcast these shows. We do talk, whatever you want. We do it on there. I'm also on Twitter at Thomas Price 2017. And I'm going to have an announcement for you tomorrow related to Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, because next Monday, I'm going to have on right after Monday Night Raw, the Atomic Titan is going to be in your chair, the Nemesis James Taylor. Next Monday, right after Raw, the Atomic Titan is going to be in the house. And you know, I'm going to be asking him a lot of questions about his future in TBW. Where does he go from here when it comes to his loss for the Intercontinental title? Plus, who knows what else, and if Atomic Titan will be able to write that story. And also tomorrow, right after Raw this week, I'm going to be here with the legendary made man himself, the Sicilian powerhouse, Vito Fratelli, who was, oh, by the way, in the ring recently with WWE stars like TJP, Lindsay Dorado, former MLW world champion Alexander Hammerstone, who knows somebody you know very well, and Mr. Jacob Fatu. So you're not going to want to miss that one right after Monday Night Raw. Then next Monday, right after Raw, Atomic Titan. So we have a lot of coverage coming. I'll have more announcements in a little while, but right now we're here with James Taylor. I want to get to some more comments. Adonis Phillips would like to say, if I was commissioner of TBW, I would say yes to Mr. Taylor. Fair enough. I want to say hello, by the way, to Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. By the way, that could be another show you might want to go on. He's on Instagram as well at _backyard_elite_wrestling. Ace is one of my favorites. He's probably a lot better host than me. He's got a lot better skills, can talk a lot better on the mic. And that's why you probably might want to go on his show, because you're probably going to want to be fed up with me by the time this show ends. But it was a joke. I was just kidding. Just kidding. This individual, who I know knows you very well, says, well, what have we here?
What's up, Mr. Leach? How you doing? He's a good guy. Go check him out.
Yes, absolutely want to say hello, because I know he was a big part of last Friday's show with you and Darkron. By the way, I want to say hello to Dark Cryptic Wrestling's Darkron. Please follow DKW on YouTube at Dark Cryptic Wrestling. Yes?
Can we point out that, well, right now, I don't know, maybe it's different on your end, but we had up to 22 people watching us
Yes.
at once.
Yes, we did. 22 people. You know what? I actually did 2 videos on my end tonight, and I announced Vito Fratelli. And I want to, by the way, thank the promoter of 2 of his companies he works for, Jarrell Diaz and Mr. Darrow Johnson in the state of California, for the West Coast Wrestling Company, also the Valley Wrestling Connection, the Wrestling Warzone out there, because they have been big supporters of mine. I believe that they were tuned in. So I want to thank them for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of their companies, and especially with Mr. Vito Fratelli. So I hope that was a part of it. But also, you are James Taylor. And although you're here all the time, you didn't get to open the show. Usually I get you in and you pop in, but this time tonight, you got to open the show. So I think that's why people were fired up. And I want to say hello to Coach Chris Craven. Obviously, oh boy, this is so exciting. He's trying to be, I guess, neutral and impartial. CJ Black likes the look. He likes the new look for you, so I guess that's pretty good. Want to say hello to TBW, by the way. How you doing out there to Tennessee Backyard Wrestling? And I'm looking forward for more TBW coverage next Monday. And I have no doubt I'll probably see you next Monday night with the Atomic Titan. And
Well,
also,
I'd like to say tomorrow night on my channel,
what do you
not
got?
to throw it out on the Nemesis sessions, I am going to have the one and the only, the good guy himself, Mr. CJ Black. So stay tuned to that.
Now, what time are you going to have that show?
I will do it after yours or before it, whichever time you want. You just
Do
you
it before. Well, first of all, do it before, because that show is going to be late. I'm going on late, so I imagine we have people that have to work. I mean,
okay, yeah, it'll be 8 p.m. my time.
Do it anytime you want, but I would say if you're going to do it, just do it before, because that way I can watch the show,
Okay.
and then I can go on Mr. Fratelli, because Mr. Fratelli, obviously, that's a different dynamic there. But Painmaker says, have I lost my mind? What do you say to that? You in the championship, what would you say?
Have I lost my mind?
No, he's saying, have I lost my mind, and asking you about the lack of respect in the championship picture.
No, Tom hasn't lost his mind. Tom is a wise man. He knows exactly what in the hell he's saying, Painmaker. You're the one that's clearly insane because you're over there putting makeup all over your face like it's supposed to be something special and laughing like the penguin from Batman Returns. So I'm not worried about you, kid.
All right, let me run through. I have a million comments, so I'm just going to go shotgun on these comments because I could ask you things, but I want to get through these comments. Cough, Roman Reigns, cough. I think that's related to the TBW champion and maybe another company's champion. Coach Craven has a funny line here. Amateur night at the Apollo. That's what it does tonight. Kind of does feel a little bit like. I want to say hello to somebody from your promo fed. Ledger is the only one worth watching on TBW. He needs to be sponsored by Mountain Dew. I like Mountain Dew, by the way. I happen to be a fan of Mountain Dew. I just want to put it out there. Okay. So I want to say hello to Peter. I want to say hello to ADT. I'd rather not sit through another Fraud Jovi interview. He's not saying about you. He means about the resident rock star, Sean Jovi. But I would say to ADT, if when you get a chance to watch his match, I don't know if the IMF guys have put it out for basically full screen release on their page on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666. I can assure you, though, Mr. Jovi definitely was far better in the ring than maybe in the last time we saw him on Sportswire. So I would definitely say ADT. I'm telling you, when you watch him in the ring later this week, it's going to be very good. And I have no doubt that we'll have a lot to talk about with him. But also, want to say hello to ADT, especially because I love the Alliance Wrestling. And by the way, I want to mention them, James Taylor, because that would be an excellent landing home for you one day. That one day, if that ever occurred, Alabama, they got a great roster. They got Dylan Andrews. They got Christopher James, Tyson Gates. They got AJ Morgan, ADT. That's a fast rising company. I just want to put it out there again. Not trying to get in the middle of anything.
They know how to contact me. That's on them.
Okay.
They have to come to me. So
okay, fair enough. Dark Crime wants to point out age doesn't matter. Mr. Taylor, was that the man behind the paint? Now he's the shade, and the Joker persona has risen again in 22.
Okay. It's still the same man to me.
Father Time is taking a stunner from JT.
Yep.
That's a funny one. On the other end of the spectrum, Thea Hale from NXT is 19, just got a women's title match the other day.
There you go.
Roxanne Perez at NXT was trained by Booker T a few short years ago, and she held the women's title. She was the one that beat Mandy Rose. So you just You don't know really. I mean, anything is possible. Listen, MJF, right? MJF, I want to point it out. MJF is not too far from where I live. He's from Plainview in Long Island, New York. In fact, one of my analysts on the show grew up with MJF. MJF, I believe now is 26, and he's the AEW World Champion.
See,
And a few
these people don't understand, Tom, that you've got connections just as well as certain people. So they need to be careful what they're doing. And, if they
And
really
I also
do
want to point out another thing on MJF, just so people know this. MJF was an underground wrestler 5 years ago. An underground wrestler. He wasn't in WWE. He wasn't in Impact. No, 5 years ago, Maxwell Jacob Friedman was wrestling in the underground wrestling scene about 15 minutes from my house. I'm going to put it out there. I'm just going to
There
put
you
it out
go.
there. So
There it
anything is happening here. Since James has this whole following, when is he going to get sponsored by some major product? Yeah, when are you going to get sponsored? That's a good question.
It's a matter of accepting the right ones, because there's a lot of spams that come through that you got to be careful for. So it's just a matter of kind of like crossing your T's and dotting your
I's. That was a term we used to always use in my political career when we're getting close to election day and we thought we had enough what they would call voter contacts to win. We'd have to do the whole I's and T's, and sometimes it didn't work out. Well, most of the time it didn't work out. But I want to say hello to this person.
So I know this person very well.
Okay, tell us.
This Mr. Sir Love-A-Lot, or I'd like to say Jody Phillips. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there.
How you doing, Jody? How's it going?
This man, if you watched any of my older matches, I had two matches with him. He was a skinnier guy who stole my titles in one of those gauntlet matches. But anyways, real good kid. I grew up with him almost. And this guy, other than telling the whole story, I'll let him do it another day. But he was entered and received the Warrior Award, or won a Warrior Award in WWE, and he was part of the Hall of Fame.
Now that was Dana Warrior was involved in that. Correct me if I'm wrong. With Titus O'Neil.
I believe so. No, Susan Archison.
Okay.
He knows more of the details, but I've got.
Yeah, if he wants to put it out there, and listen, I'll throw it out there. Anytime he'd want to talk about that on Sportswire, I'm more than happy to do that, because I am, a man in the community. I do have a minor position I hold, so I always love to highlight those things. So
he's got big connections with WWE. That's all I got to say.
So. Well, he doesn't have. We don't have to talk WWE, but if you ever want to talk about the award, I'd be happy to do that. But let me get through. I have so many comments for you, Mr. Taylor. I want to get through them. Atomic Titan says, "I heard he's getting sponsored by Head and Shoulders." So I think that's Mr. Ledger's shade. So needs to be Old Spice. Old Spice for you. And then Atomic laughs. Was it Loose Cannon that texted you from Omen Black?
Loose Cannon don't have my personal cell phone, so no.
I want to say hello to the newest member of the foundation, Dirty Donnie. Dirty says, haha. Dirty, you know very well. I want to say hi to Dirty. James has more talent than his pinky than 99% of the backyard companies.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brand.
I got a good one from Peter, by the way, because I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem twice. When is TNJT? We're going to get the TNGT beer brand. So when are we going to get the Nemesis James Taylor beer brand? So when are we going to get it?
I don't know. I'm not super big into beer. I like beer, but I don't drink it like certain other people that y'all want to claim that I'm like a lot. But how was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? I really want to see it. I ain't got to see it yet.
I saw it twice. I thought it was great. In fact, I saw it.
Yeah, I like to show shit off. But look, I got all of them.
Wow. I did see you and Darkron kind of talking figures. I thought that was kind of fun. You and Darkron on our Friday show, we're talking about the figures. Yeah, no, definitely. In fact, I got the pins. They were selling pins kind of like for charity or whatever purposes, and I had bought them in the movie theater. So I saw it twice in Reel 3. I thought it was a very good movie, although some people, I guess, were kind of disappointed about April O'Neil, but I thought other than that, I think it was a really funny movie, and I liked it a lot. But I don't want to spoil it, but see it if you can. And Jody would like to say my boy, and I want to say hello to Coach as well. By my recollection, my buddy Prophet bear you. Heck, I was in the ring with you for 5 seconds, and you got beat right after.
Yeah, because you blindsided me. You distracted me and gave the Prophet a 1-up. Which I thought you were on my side, Leach. See, that hurt my feelings, man.
And Mr. Paymaker would like to say the ratings of this show are going down.
Yeah, because of Atomic Titan being on here talking.
Ooh. Well, Atomic's going to be here, though, in this chair next Monday.
Let's see if Atomic Titan's going to have like almost 22 to 25 followers watching this at one time whenever he gets on here, little bastard.
Okay, well, I guess that's challenge to Mr. Atomic. So that's a challenge to both of us. James got buried in the ring. Only legends can get that.
Okay.
And then I think Atomic and Joshua Allen are going back and forth because that's
clearly
that's what it is.
Back and forth.
And then have you been running from Sir Love a lot?
He says I have, but that's another guy I got a rubber match I got to do. He's one, I'm one, and we never had our third match. Last time we were in the ring together was back in 2006.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Why not? Listen, I think that could be something we'd love to see on Sportswire. Creepy Leech was in TBW. How did you like that distraction, James? I think that was just referred to in a previous comment.
There you go.
Okay. Every time I watch these shows, I crave meatloaf. I don't know why.
That's funny. Oh, go get you some meatloaf, Peter. You know.
Well, I hope it's good for you because I haven't had meatloaf in years.
I heard Cracker Barrel sells a mean meatloaf. Go check them out.
Well, we don't have a Cracker Barrel in my neck of the woods in New York City. We don't have Cracker Barrel, and I think some other guys I was seeing have gone to Waffle House, which is another place we don't have near here. So it seems to be those are the two places for a lot of wrestlers. And Sir Love a Lot would like to say, love you, bro. James Taylor is with the ratings, with the dope merchandise. New shirt coming soon. Absolutely. That new shirt. Cannot wait for it here. And also, Coach is going after Joshua Allen. Also, you go back with him. I want to say hello to one of your other recent guests here, the wild card Jason Storm, the reigning, defending ROEW champion, who also celebrated a birthday last week. Happy belated birthday once again to the champion. And anything you want to say to him?
Jason Storm, hell of a guy. I've got a lot of respect for him, even though I never met him in person, but he definitely showed his respect to me, so I got the respect to him.
Well, I might love to see you meet him in person one day. There's a lot of companies, like I said, there's a lot of companies where the grass might be greener for you. ROEW, DKW, certainly you and IMF have history. XCW, I got to throw XCW in there. WCE. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, James Taylor, that would love to hear from you. AWL, I have to throw them out there. They're here with us tonight. I mean, a lot of companies out there where I could see the grass being greener on the other side. Just saying. LBW, Legendary Backyard Wrestling, Backyard Elite Wrestling. I mean, SGW's out there. Anthony Arias' promotion. There's a lot of companies out there. Even Greece, the Greek Wrestling Association. Could you imagine the legendary James Taylor in Greece?
You never know.
I tell you what. That could be historic. You think about what you could do there. Just think about James Taylor going overseas. It would be bigger than the Hulkamania tour. I guarantee you, when Hulkamania went to Australia, this would be bigger. You going to, let's say, Backyard Elite Wrestling and the Greek Wrestling Association. Just think about the matches. Think about where you could go with your audience. Just saying.
I've been thinking about touring the seas very soon and flying. I've been wanting
I'll
to
tell you what. I can't wait to see it. And CJ Black says he loves MJF. Yes, MJF, by the way, CJ Black, he is pretty much the same person when you meet him in real life than he is in the ring. I can actually tell you tell you here. So
these people blowing you up, aren't they, Tom? You're welcome.
Three good guys. CJ is in here too, Storm. Good seeing you, man. Also, Jody, go on the show. Do the real fans get a plushie or an anime girl poster with your new shirt?
It really depends on what they want. I mean, maybe an extra $5. We'll throw something in.
Patreon page, maybe?
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to. I've been told a lot that I need to set up a Patreon, and I've got one in the works, so stay tuned to that.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I'm going to get through some more comments here. I appreciate it. ADT CJ isn't a good guy. He's a hack. James doesn't realize I made his merchandise. I think he's going back and forth with somebody else.
Hey, Bren, I already know, bro. Okay, let's go ahead and throw it out there. This right here, This right here was made by Mr. Brin. Yes, it was. So there's a little credit for him. There
Interesting.
There you go.
Okay, very, very interesting there. I
You
appreciate
gotta have
that.
somebody that does it, but now the back of it, that was on me.
Oh, well, you know what? That's why you are certainly wearing that shirt. It looks very pretty on you, so I'm not going to argue
Yeah,
there.
it looks pretty all right.
Fair enough here. Well, let me get to some more comments here. And I appreciate the kind words from Atomic Titan. How do you not have a Waffle House? And then he goes on about how you need my own show. Yeah, I'm in New York City. You have to remember, like, places like Brooklyn, places like Staten Island, just don't have it. There's a lot of things we don't have, but there's also a lot of things we have that people come from all around the world for. Cracker Barrel is superior. Words of advice: love your haters because opposites attract. On behalf of WCE, happy birthday, Jason Storm. Happy birthday to the champion. Also, I've been face to face with James twice now. You never know, might have round 3 around the corner. Also, I'm going to AEW Dynamite and Rampage Wednesday night in Nashville. Are you invited?
No, nobody invites me to anything. The only people that invite me to stuff are people that are way away from me.
CJ Black will says everybody tomorrow. He'll see tomorrow everybody on the show, and also ROEW Backyard Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram. Go give them a follow. So, also $5 in a shirt. I know a good deal when I can see it.
You know that guy ADT or STD or whatever his name is?
I like him. Though.
I think, yeah, great character,
now,
but I think he's afraid of the best wrestler in all of Alabama. Hell, the best wrestler in all the U.S., period. Hell, the greatest wrestler in the world today. That man right there knows that I'm the king here in Alabama.
Are you saying that this would be a dream match? Let's say all those years they talked about in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Hogan versus Flair. We never got that match. And then we finally got it. Are you saying that in the state of Alabama, the dream match right now, when you think about right now, the two biggest wrestlers in the state of Alabama, pound for pound, are James Storm and ADT? Because let's think about it. Bobby Eaton's no longer with us. Bob Holly's retired pretty much. I mean, he's doing a little bit of stuff here and there. I would dare say that you and ADT are the two biggest stars right now in the entire state of Alabama.
I don't know. Probably, maybe. Who knows? But as far as I like it, what he thinks, whatever. He's not ready for me. Clearly, he don't want none of this. As far as a dream match for me, no. Dream match for him, maybe. I'd probably be the greatest match he ever had in his life. He can say what he wants, make all the jokes you want. I know exactly who in the hell you are. He's all about joking.
Now, Mr. Taylor, I know you have an announcement, and I'm going to get to that announcement very soon. And I want to let you know, though, before I get to that announcement, I have somebody for a few minutes that would like to say a few words to you. And they're actually from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. That's right, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Somebody is here, and they want to say a few words to you. Would you like me to bring them on?
I'm not responsible. Yeah, bring them on.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely fine.
I could certainly say, you know what? Come on next time on Atomic Titan show. I could say, maybe we want to move away from that. Are you sure you want this person to be on?
You can bring them on and leave them on as long as you want. You can kick them out when you want, but I'm not responsible for the foul language I might use, it depending on what he or whoever says to me. But I'm.
Oh, so are you ready for this then?
Oh, I've been ready. I'm long.
So you're not going to be James Marshall on us and sit there and go.
Oh, I promise you, I ain't no James Marshall. I'm only Taylor. I'm the Nemesis.
You might be related to the folk singer, but you know what? I'm going to get to it here because he's here. Hopefully, his camera is now turned on. We are speaking with none other than the pain maker himself, the confidant to the reigning, defending Tennessee Backyard Wrestling champion of the world, Mr. Ledger Shade, and that is none other than the pain maker, Mr. Joshua Allen. And Mr. Allen, good to be with you once again. I'm going to give you the floor and comment directly to Mr. Taylor.
I've been listening to this trick for 49 minutes, right? 49 minutes and some odd seconds of this old relic, this old fart, this old has-been, this old piece of filth. Ramble on about how great he was this 1999. First off, old man, you look at your hairline is beginning to recede on the side there. It looks like this is not 1999 anymore. This is 2023. You're not this. You're an old relic of your old self. That's what it is. And you want to say I'm the greatest. I'm this because I'm the Nemesis James Taylor. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you and your accomplishments because it's you. Nobody cares, James. Nobody cares about your some odd following on TikTok or anything else of the nature.
Are TikToks still such a thing, by the way? I remember having those TikToks. Remember those back? You'd have those little things that pop in for mints.
Long story short, earlier you said Mr. Tom Championship. Have you lost your mind? Look, the Anarchy King is a defending champion.
I asked you the question. Remember I asked you the question when you came on here a few weeks ago, and I said, really, what is left for you and Mr. Ledger to accomplish at this point? I mean, I really think about it on the roster. Who is there for you to challenge? I mean, Mr. Taylor is saying he's still with TBW, and he's had this one brief altercation with Mr. Ledger. I mean, you could throw it out there based with Mr. Taylor's following, 76,000 of them on social media. He certainly brings in the ratings, and it's always about the ratings, right? I mean, we think about ratings. It's all about it in this business. What we live for in the yard is how many views on YouTube. How many views on YouTube does James Taylor bring? That's what it all comes down to, Mr. Ledger, for Mr. Ledger's Shake. No, Mr. Paymaker?
I even have A&E that follows me on TikTok. Go check them out. It's how I got this cut, by the way.
And what's the TikTok link, by the way?
It's going to be Taff_Taylor. You know?
Good enough. Mr. Paymaker, so what is that response then? Basically, James Taylor's the one that brings the ratings. It's all about ratings in this business, and let's give the people what they want, maybe.
Look, as the old adage would say, controversy creates cash. All right,
that's a similar podcast to what I saw you on the Grilling JR podcast.
Fuck off. Controversy creates cash. That's the main drain. So let's look. Old man, I have told you time and time again, if you got the gall, the guts, the intestinal fortitude to get your ass out of Alabama, you know where we are. Not hard to find. If you got the gall, old man, look, what makes you so special? I mean, look at the list of people we defeated. We defeated Flair.
What happened to him since? I'll give you that much. Daniel Cole was supposed to be the guy to finally break the streak, to finally end the run that Mr. Ledger was on, and no cigar there.
I'm sorry, Daniel who? Oh, yeah, the piss that out that we got his ass kicked. We sent him home back to the Memphis where he belonged, in the kitchen. That's where he belongs. He doesn't belong in a wrestling ring. He can't hack it no more. We throw him like yesterday's garbage. And now this old man who says started them all since 1999 wants to think he has a shot at it. Are you serious? What makes this old fart the last hope? I mean, all you
followers on social media. It comes down to business. You just said it a few minutes ago. Controversy creates cash. He's the guy that's going to bring the ratings. Simple as that. Listen, Jack Delta was in TBW. You could make the case that Jack Delta came to TBW to build up the ratings, to get us more subs. James Taylor in a world title match, you could make that same argument. I'm throwing it out there. Listen, in this sport, right, we live for YouTube views. We live for new subs. He's got almost 41,000. He's got almost 35,000 on TikTok. From a strictly business decision, if management is out there and they're listening, think about it, right? Brock Lesnar was always the top guy in WWE for all these years. Why? Because he was about giving them ratings, the casual person. James Taylor has a unique audience that certainly would like to see him, and that base could go to an even otherwise huge base in TBW, make it even bigger. And if it doesn't work here, I'm sure there's a heck of a lot of companies that are watching on Sportswire tonight where they might want to open up the checkbook. They might want to open up their sub counts to go up further and bring this man in, because I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies that are listening, and their managements, and they're saying, you know what? Let me book this guy. I know, Mr. Painmaker, you don't have the decision on that, but if I'm management in TBW, that might be where I would consider, and also to the fact that Ledger and Taylor haven't met before.
Look, the only time that my client, Mr. Ledger, the Anarchy King, and this old fart man was back in the Rage Room in 2021.
Yes, correct.
He brought up a good point of that. But that wasn't the same Ledger, old man. First, that was that was whatever that was. That was the light, if you will. Now he's back in the darkness of the Joker persona with me by his side of the Spading Club, the Anarchy Kingdom ourselves. We're unstoppable, old man. So what makes you? I'll give you a little bit of credit, old man. A little teeny tiny portion of credit. You got through the Chrome Dome and his family of misfits somehow, some way. But we're not like those band of geeks. No way. No, sir. We're a totally different kind, okay, old man? So if you got the gall, if, that's a big word, if you think you can do it, you know where we are. We're not hard to find.
You're right.
So, like I said, if you want to take the chance of us retiring your old ass for good and having you stay in Alabama where you belong, then by all means. But the smart thing to do, James, is just stay where you are. Just stay where you are, James, because like I said, just stay where you are, James. That's all you got to do. Just stay home. Stay safe.
Is that it?
Exactly. The 500-day reign, episode 150 on Rampage. Tune in. Yes, it is. And Atomic Twerp, you better not be there, I'll knock the piss out of you.
And he's going to be here next Monday, Mr. Painmaker. Atomic Titan is in Mr. Taylor's chair right after.
The ratings have gone down to the memorial shithole, Tommy. Come on. You get the loser of the main event of the IC special and the loser that got his ass embarrassed by the Prophet.
He's
really?
The American Dragon, though. Listen, the American
Dragon, my ass. More like the American tadpole, the American lizard.
He was going to finish this story. I got faith in him. He is going to finish this story.
His story is finished. You heard the phrase, it is finished?
But he won the title, though. He had won it. We thought he was the champion. And all of a sudden, it was just, we had to go debate. I mean, listen, he, to me, very well could be the real Intercontinental Champion. And I still believe in the Atomic Titan because I believe he is the American Dragon. And I believe he will finish this story because the chapter has not been written. And just I'm telling you, he's got something in him. Yes, I would agree that Atomic is going to have to go back to the drawing board. Certainly Gage Flair, the Nature Boy, is still celebrating like it's 1984. Absolutely. I agree on all fronts. But Atomic Titan, I don't count him out by a long shot. And something tells me next Monday, live on Sportswire Radio, on all of our platforms, the American Dragon is going to tell us where do we go from here. That's all I'm going to say here.
Where do we go from here? Boy.
Tom, on that last comment that Peter Richards said.
In all seriousness, TBW won't have high ratings till they book James and Ledger.
What do you think, Chuck?
Peter Richards. Oh, boy. You know what? Ratings, huh? Ratings. We're all about ratings. I mean, that's the high key of this promotion. Ratings. Because we do this for the love of it. I'll give a little bit of heart here, a little bit if I have one. But the bottom line is this, James. Like I said, if you want it, you know where we are. But the
That's
best thing,
Backyard Wrestling on YouTube and Instagram, by the way. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, like Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, because I love watching Tennessee Backyard Wrestling in all seriousness. And I love everything that this company has to offer. I just want to put it out there.
But the best thing for you to do, James, is stay at home.
I don't want to.
No,
Now,
no,
let me
no,
ask you
no.
one question, Mr. Taylor, before I get to the American Dragon. I mean, maybe there's a point. Maybe there is a point that Mr. Painmaker is actually saying, and I have to almost ask. I mean, with the way you've been treated, and maybe even right now with the way things are going for you, maybe some out there are chattering. Are you considering retirement plans?
No.
No, because maybe that's the chatter. That, you know what? Maybe this is all.
I'm not ready to retire until I say I'm ready to retire, because ain't nobody got me ready for that. I can go as long as I want.
Oh, boy.
Guys.
Oh, and Atomic Titan wants to say it's my comeback story since I returned. Well, I was trying to hype it up that way. I was trying to put my spin on it, hype him up for next Monday. So I just want to put that out here. But Mr. Taylor, I want to come back to the Painmaker in a second. I will, but you teased before you came on tonight that you had a major announcement. And a lot of people tonight on Sportswire Radio have obviously been tuned in. They're hearing you talking. The comments have been out left and right. I know, obviously, CJ Black's coming on tomorrow's show with the Nemesis sessions, but I know that is not quite the major announcement. For the audience out there that is watching all over the world, all these different promoters, stars, the fans of yours, the many, many fans of yours that you have out there, the Nemesis James Taylor, do you want to share your major announcement for everybody out there listening and watching live worldwide?
Yeah, I do have a major announcement. But I figured I'd address this situation right now first with Painmaker, since he wanted to come on here, interrupt me.
We're going to put him to sleep?
No, you had your time to talk, kid. Now it's my turn. Okay? So, Mr. Ledger is 500-day reign champion. We got episode 150 TBW Rampage coming up. I mean, he's beaten everybody that there is to beat. He's never defeated me, and it doesn't matter. If y'all paid attention to that match at Anniversary, Mr. Painmaker, the Prophet did not get the job done. I've said this, but I'm going to say it calmly. I'm going to get loud, put my dad voice on, like some people say. He didn't get the job done. He still failed. He got a lucky victory. I passed out from the pain. My head was pumping out more blood than my heart was given. The war is not over between me and the Prophet. One of these days, I'm going to get my hands around his little cue-balled head, like you said, his little scrawny-ass neck, and I'm going to squeeze it till his eyes pop out. And I'll get the job done and finish this war. It's not a story. It's a war. And I'm going to be the ultimate victor in this war. And then when I'm done with him, if Ledger is still hanging around with you and his little minions, I promise you, just like I did the prophecy, the Anarchy King has not really met his maker until he meets the Tyrant King. And all of
that. Please, give me a break.
Mr. Painmaker, I actually wanted to ask you one thing before I come back to Mr. Taylor and his, obviously, announcement, which we'll get to in a few minutes. And Atomic Titan makes an excellent point. I was curious objectively, and what is your opinions on Resurrection World Champion Rage going up against Mr. Ledger? What is your opinions on that?
Well, apparently at the battlefield, I'm hearing it's going to be my client versus Rage, the Resurrection Wrestling World Champion.
Yes, sir.
He calls himself a king of resurrection. Okay, that's their side of the tracks. Okay. No, I'm not gonna diss him or nothing, but there's only one king when it comes to TBW, and it's not your ass either, old man. You're the king of the video game land. Shut the fuck up and sit down. The real king of this place is the Anarchy King of the Anarchy Kingdom of the Anarchy era. That's who it always is and always will be. But as far as the match goes, we'll see what happens. But I can guarantee it's not going to be a happy ending for Rage if he decides to even show up. If.
All right. And also, by the way, I'd like to ask you one thing in all seriousness, also, Mr. Painmaker, because obviously we know that you had COVID. And how are you feeling right now in all seriousness?
All seriousness, better than I was, but nonetheless, old man, like I said earlier, every man has a weakness. And every one of the men we have faced in this anarchy era, we've disposed that weakness. Yours, old man, is time.
You should be careful with your words, Mr. Painmaker. You might be an advocate. You might be
a confidant.
Might be his confidant. You might be whatever he is, his lapdog, sleeping buddy, his snuggle bear, whatever it is. You should eat those words because, yes, it is true. Every man on this planet, including the Shade, has a weakness. And I know his weakness.
Now, I'd like to bring a comment up here, which I just put on the screen here. Obviously, it's our current reigning, defending Tennessee Backyard Wrestling hardcore champion, and obviously somebody who has been a staple in TBW, that is Joe the Grim Reaper Anderson. Obviously, we know the Grim Reaper very well. Of course, he was a man that both of you know very well. And he also says, I made a jab for you with your old move at Anniversary, ? You want to address Mr. Grim Reaper?
Mr. Reaper, one man that I have yet to face off in the ring as well. Joe the Grim Reaper Anderson. Guy likes to wear masks, blow smoke out his ass, sit there and hold his little lantern like he's something intimidating and frightening. I know Halloween's right around the corner, and I love Ghosts and Goblins because it's one of my favorite times of the year. And I mean, if you want to have a haunted house attraction right there, there it is. You're going to have the Grim Reaper, if he's got a set, which he probably don't, to go one-on-one with the be-all, end-all, the Nemesis James Taylor. Hell, make it happen. He is a former world champion.
I was going to bring, and obviously that was at one time the Painmaker himself was with Mr. Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Funny fact, too, Mr. Painmaker, do you know that in my TBW career, I have defeated 4 former world champions with ease? What makes you think that I can't take out the Shade? If I go against Mr. Anderson 1, 2, 3, that'll be number 5 world champions that James Taylor has defeated, because that's what I do. What's your response to that, kid?
Because that's what you do, huh? Blah, blah, blah. All you do is run your chops, old man. Yeah, you beat 4 former world champions. You want a golden egg for that achievement?
No, I want a rotten egg.
This ain't a video game fantasy, you old fart. This is real life.
Yeah, real life. I've kicked 4 of your world champions' asses, and I'll whip a 5th one, and the one that's the current champion now, I done stunned his ass 2 years ago. What makes you think I can't do it again?
You failed.
Doesn't have a response. He's not as quick-witted with his words.
You failed. If you had let me speak, you old fossil. That was a different side of ledger, okay? That was the ledger of then. This is a different ledger. This is the ledger of old. The Shade, the Anarchy King, not the same man, James. So while you're busy in the video game land, we're in the real world, conquering TBW. But like us, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this platform. Sick of this.
I got one more question though for you, Mr. Painmaker. What's your impression?
Make it quick.
Mr. Ledger had wanted that Intercontinental title for the Anarchy. What is your opinion on Gage Flair winning the Intercontinental title? And do you guys have your sights set on the Nature Boy?
Why would we have our sights set on another old fossil? Even crying out loud. I stated on the rampage that simply that I can't beat Ledger Shade Championship because Commissioner Handshops had to bring in another belt to try to, have it. Bring another belt in.
Mr. Ledger had wanted the family to have that title. Now, obviously, we know that unusual circumstances had obviously prevented you guys from that. But I had to ask, is that a title that you guys still have your sights set on?
Look, in the future, maybe. In the future, maybe.
I respect
Maybe.
that. I respect the honesty.
Right now, let's have the woman have his day in the sun like he really needs one.
Now,
Woo!
yeah, we certainly can. And anything else you'd like to plug, Mr. Painmaker? Obviously, we hope that you continue to feel better and recover. We want to see you in episode 150. Is there anything else that you'd like to say on behalf of yourself or even, obviously, Mr. Ledger?
Episode 150, the 500-day celebration. Mark it on your calendars, gents.
It's marked. My calendar's always marked. When TBW comes around, I get those notifications, and I always make sure I'm watching Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, regardless of whether James Taylor's there or not.
Well, you're a smart man.
Yes. Okay. Well, I appreciate the time then, Mr. Painmaker. We're going to let you obviously say sayonara. Now, I have to get to it because we've been waiting all night for it. You teased it before, hours ago, before we came on the air. You've got a major announcement. Your fans, wrestlers, wrestling companies, certainly TBW, the world wants to know. James Taylor, what is your major announcement?
Well, Mr. Tom, we all know where James Taylor is right now and what he's doing. But all things certainly eventually, when I don't know, must come to an end. And that just means that there's bigger and brighter things ahead of this. Well, since it's such a famous word these days, story. You see, the Nemesis James Taylor is still under contract with Tennessee Backyard Wrestling.
Thank God for that. Thank God. Thank God you got a contract. I really am happy you got a contract.
It's a freelance contract.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm a free agent. I could go where I like. The cool thing is that I could go other places. And
you could? Really?
My major announcement is basically around. It's going to be in the middle of September when the official signing will happen. And when that signing happens, I will share it with the world. But James Taylor is going to become an indie wrestler.
What?
And join New South Pro Wrestling.
Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, this might be I think this is the biggest signing I've seen since Hulk Hogan signed in WCW back in 1994. This is going to basically break the internet. James Taylor, you have signed with one of the premier independent wrestling companies in the entire world, the New South. I mean, this is just, James Taylor, this is just unbelievable.
The guys like Dan Housing has
Absolutely. Yes.
Guys like the current United States champion in WWE, Mr.
Yes.
You know who?
Mr. Theory, yes. But it's not Rey Mysterio, but yes, with Mr. Theory, yes.
Well, yeah, Austin Theory. There you
yes,
go.
I knew that. I knew what you were referring to, sir.
Yeah, Austin Theory was in New South Pro Wrestling. I've been in contacts with them. I've attended a few of their live events. I haven't been a part of the show, but I've watched. And I've been in contact with the owners, and we've got a thing scheduled. So stay tuned, because sometime in September, I will be signing with New South Pro Wrestling and begin my journey in the indie scene. And that all 100% will be documented and posted not only on New South Pro Wrestling's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that whatsoever.
And by the way, on Instagram, at New South Pro Wrestling is where you can find out all things related to the legendary Nemesis James Taylor going to one of the premier promotions around. I really think that this is going to just basically be groundbreaking. This is revolutionary. You think about the following that New South Pro Wrestling has. You think about the fan base. They combine it with the legendary James Taylor and his fans, his devoted following. I mean, listen, right now, I mean, you want to talk about ratings, you want to talk about views, James Taylor to New South. I think this is going to basically open the doors in the world of wrestling. There is nothing I've ever seen like this major announcement. That's why you have to follow James Taylor as well on YouTube at Taft Taylor, TikTok, Instagram at Taff_Taylor, because this is groundbreaking. Also, Facebook at New South Pro Wrestling. This is where real pro wrestling goes for real pro wrestling fans. On Twitter as well at New South_PW. I mean, this is, I got to be honest, I didn't even know this announcement was going to happen. I'm thinking, all right, we're going to see James Taylor. Maybe he signs with XCW. Maybe he signs with WC and faces Craven Rage. Maybe that was the announcement. But yet here we are.
Here's the fun thing. After talking with these people, and they're great guys, and I can't wait to work with them, and that time will come, and everybody will know when I do. I have permission from them when I do join, and I'll get more details on it. But as of right now, the owners told me that I'm more than welcome to video document everything that I do for my channel, and that me wrestling in other companies doesn't matter. You know, if it's an indie company, maybe, but like Backyard Wrestling, as long as it's not
Good
stuff, they're absolutely 100% fine with whatever I do, because they are aware of my following as well. And yes, I know.
And this might even increase what your demands are going to be for these companies. So if you're ROEW right now, if you're DKW, WCE, if you're IMF, if you're RWA, if you're AWL, if you're GWA, if you're Backyard Elite, Legendary Backyard Wrestling, if you're CBW, if you're UWA, I don't care who you are. I mean, James Taylor, his value just skyrocketed tonight because now he's going to the indies. He's an indie pro wrestler, to quote his one guest that has come on recently to Sportswire Radio. He is in the indies now. But the difference is here, James Taylor is a household name. He is one of the biggest names in this sport. With his following, there is nobody that has this kind of following. This is just unbelievable. This is why you have to follow New South Pro Wrestling at New South Pro Wrestling on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter at New South_Pro Wrestling. I cannot stress that this is going to blast off James Taylor and New South Pro Wrestling into the next decade.
I'm definitely excited as well. I'm not there quite yet, but I'm almost there. It's like the door has opened and my foot has stepped in. That's it. So
well, I hope they throw you a ticker tape parade like they did for Hogan and WCW. I hope that we can basically see that on New South Pro Wrestling TV with your fan base, your devoted following, your devoted fans. I mean, forget about thinking about Redbubble, thinking about all these places to get shirts. They'll help you with that. You think about the following that you have already. Your following, it's going to go up tenfold. I mean, listen, you're going to forget all of us. You're going to basically, yes, you're the legendary James Taylor. And, forget about all this talk about Ledger Shade and Craven Rage. And listen, who else is out there? Because the indies, I mean, you're going to be sooner or later, we're going to see you maybe become like LA Knight. Instead of the Yeah movement, it's going to be the Taylor movement. We're going to have the Taylor movement. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you need to follow James Taylor. And I got comments here. Atomic Titan says they're big fans of us, by the way, James. So obviously,
they are. That's one reason how they knew who I was already when I contacted them.
Well, everybody knows James Taylor. Everybody knows TBW. TBW again. And I can't wait to speak with the Atomic Titan next Monday. And Mr. Taylor, I got another announcement before we bring on a few more surprises for the last 20 or so minutes of the show. Friday night in your chair, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, he makes his long-awaited return to Sportswire Radio. That is the reigning, defending WCE all-out champion of the world, the Backyard Nightmare, the ruler of the WCE yard, and some even say the ruler of the entire backyard. Some even say the biggest champion in this sport. Craven Rage returns to Sportswire Radio Live, and apparently Craven Rage plans to address the entire backyard wrestling community. He's putting everyone on notice, and he's going to be addressing everybody that has said all that they have said about him. And he's saying in his words, Friday night, bring it on, everyone, because Craven Rage is firing back, and he's got a lot to say, James Taylor, a lot to say Friday night. You might want to tune into that one, I promise you.
I'll tune in for sure. But
you will.
That being an announcement, that you're doing your part, but him living up to those words, I'm going to doubt him.
So you don't think that he's going to, because again, he's promising that he's going to address the backyard wrestling community. He's promising that he is going to basically show why he is the backyard nightmare, why he is the ruler of the yard. And he says he's the man that put backyard wrestling on the map. He's the man. He's the man that's going to tell everybody why he's the man. That's right. Craven Rage, our champion. He has said he's had enough. He has heard what everybody has had to say about him. He was certainly busy promoting all things related to WCE. He was promoting all things related to this sport. But now he has decided it is time to return. Speaking of people that want to say hello for a few minutes, some would say the real Craven. Some might say the other Craven. Or the other half, it is the legendary coach, Chris Craven. Coach, obviously, you just heard the news that James Taylor is becoming an indie star. He is going to New South Pro Wrestling. But also for your close interest, I know your close eye at mine, Craven Rage makes his long awaited return to Sportswire Radio Friday night to address the Backyard Wrestling Nation.
Before he says anything, this is really the only Craven I believe in. That's not to blow smoke up the ass. It's literally, that's a Craven. The Craven.
I'll say this. Props to someone giving Taylor a cookie. Enjoy your cookie.
I love
cookie.
I love
okay. As far as Craven Rage goes, like, what has it been, like a month? He had a lot of time.
It's been about a month, correct. It has been about. I don't know if he was filming movies. I don't know if he was filming TV commercials. Some even say he might have been trying for the lead for the reboot of Thunder in Paradise. Some have even said maybe he was trying his hands in Hollywood. Some people have said Craven Rage was certainly just very, very busy, but he has decided now the ruler of the yard is back, and he wants to address the entire nation and not just WCE. And his opponent, Bizzo Blaze, for his championship this weekend at Rise to the Occasion.
So, like I said, he's had multiple weeks to write a script. So let's see if he can deliver without stuttering.
He's going to have, I think he's going to have more firing shots than even Anthony Steele, who, by the way, I got one more announcement. Anthony Steele is live next Sunday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time.
You're going to have to let me test him. You know that, right? You're going to have to let me.
Well, I actually hope Mr. Steele would maybe have a rain check on that interview. I would hope he would have a rain check, but I think...
Oh, I'm talking about Rage.
Oh. Well,
you're going to have to let me test him.
Well, listen, he has said, basically, he is going to tell the world what's on his mind and why reasons are what they are. He's going to
coming out of the closet?
Well, I'm going to let him address those things. He has certainly expressed an eagerness to return. He has expressed now the time is right to address the backyard wrestling community. And he is assuring people that he is going to prove to people why once and for all he is the backyard nightmare and he is the ruler of the yard, why he is the reigning, defending WCE all-out champion of the world.
Is he going to let everybody know that he got like a copy, trademark of a new name and he's taking his mask off?
Well, that might be, listen, we had Ledger, Mr. Painmaker is close to Ledger Shade, and obviously Ledger Shade is, some would say, maybe the real clone to Mr. Reigns, but obviously Craven Rage is here this Friday. He has a lot to say. He's got to address, by the way, guys, with what IMF did, the foundation to Sean Jovi and Darkfire yesterday at IMF's show. I mean, he's going to have to address those questions. I mean, we don't even know what the champion feels right now about what's going on in the state of WC. WCE right now is in a state of chaos. I mean, you think about it.
Maybe he's got feminine odors, got him down. Who knows?
And by the way, Atomic Titan says you need to get someone else on from TBW. Absolutely 1,000%. You name him on TBW, I'm ready for him. So I can't wait to talk to you.
You know what? I got a challenge for you. Put me on there one-on-one with Slade and Allen. Or, Ledger and Allen.
Well, they got to come on here. Obviously, the Painmaker, we'd certainly love to have him back. But
give him 48 minutes to do his makeup, though.
And yes, somebody would like to say, yes, now Gage Flair, I would like to have on. I would definitely love to have the Intercontinental Champion on. I would certainly love to have, frankly, anybody in TBW, I would love to have. Anyone in this roster would love to have one. So if you're out there in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, I want people to obviously go support them. and I would love to eventually speak to anybody here. And also, Atomic Titan would like to address this. Ledger has to leave his cave, though, meaning the Painmaker. Coach, before I might wait for my next surprise, you have any advice for the Nemesis James Taylor now that he's going to the Indies?
Grind hard, be respectful, learn.
You already know it, brother. You already know it. I'm not going in there with a big head. I'm just going to go in there and study.
It's not hard. You do have a big head. I mean, it's shapely.
It weighs at least 33 pounds.
Mine's my hair. My hair is just out there, so it weighs some shit down too. So.
At the end of the day, the number one thing is I'm just going to go in there and have a blast. That's all I want to do. Just go in there and have fun and do what I do best and do what we all do best. Craven, Mr. Tom, entertain the fans.
Like I said, someone gave you a cookie. Enjoy it.
Damn right. Chocolate chip all day.
Champions of TBW need to be at the forefront everywhere. Get them up. Well, listen, you know what? I'm going to answer this for you. I'm going to answer it. We would love to have anybody on from TBW. Frankly, anybody on Sportswire Radio. But sometimes there's some companies and some different people, because I'm going to answer it in a different way, because I also cover professional wrestling. And I cover a lot of stuff in England. And there are certain promoters that they play ball and they try to play hardball and they try to play politics. And in TBW, I'm not saying that they do that, but there are certain companies, certain promotions, certain wrestlers that, they feel different things. That's okay. Listen, in England, there are guys that they're world champions and don't cut promos. You're a world champion. I go out and wrestle. I don't have to talk. But I think with TBW, it's a different thing. I think that Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, we will have more coverage from them. And I can't wait to do that. And speaking of more wrestling coverage, by the way, more announcements ahead. Next Monday, in the late afternoon, I have the number one contender to the XCW Shelbyville Championship. He is the host of the Rundown Show also. His name is Alex Cardona Thompson, otherwise known as ACT. He's live for us next Monday, just 5 short days from SummerMania 18, where he goes in the ring to challenge for that XCW Shelbyville Championship against their champion, Corey Lee. And then Tuesday night, by the way, not done, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, I've got Brandon Costelli from DBW. And if you've been following Dominant Breakout Wrestling, he just cut a promo figuring out what the future is for him in DBW and where he goes next. He's going to address those plans Tuesday night. So we got a whole bunch of coverage. Also Thursday afternoon, 3:15 p.m. Eastern time, Joel Cobra of the Modern Day Mafia of GT Ministries, Breakout Pro Wrestling, also CCW in the past. He's going to address his future and more. And he's got a special announcement in his own right. So you just got to keep it here to Sportswire Radio on YouTube at Sportswire Radio. And anything else you want to add, Coach? Obviously, I know you're going to be locked into some of these shows, and especially Mr. Rage. I mean, is that one you want to appear on Friday for?
I want them all. I want them all, Tom.
But Mr. Craven Rage, right? What do you feel, though? What do you feel, though, about his comments that he's the ruler of the yard and he's going to address the entire Backyard Nation?
Well, all I can say is if you're going to shout fire in a theater, you better stick around. Don't take off.
So what do you? So are you
better
saying?
Stick around? Like basically, the point is he needs to deliver. If that's what he's saying. And you know me, I'm the big this big critic. I'm the coach. I'm the controversial one that stirs shit up. He comes on here and I pop on here and he don't deliver. I can't exactly say I'm going to be friendly.
So you think that you both think then he basically won't deliver on Friday?
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see because me, it's a little different than the rest of you guys. Like me, he's got gimmick infringement. He's already using my name. I'm the real Craven, and we all know this. Like we really all know this. I am the real Craven. I've been doing this longer than he has. I am the real Craven. And
one more thing, by the way,
here, right? I'm the color
commentator,
right?
Black Fox, Jacob Younger, Joe Anderson coming on here. My answer to that Atomic Titan, yes. Anybody from TBW can come on the Sportswire. So to answer that question, Atomic Titan, anybody wants me to speak with, I'm happy to do it. So that's all.
You want to bring me on Copycat Radio too? I'll do that too with TBW. I mean, we'll do that. Like, I got no problem, man. Like that's why I'm the color commentator, right? I'm the one who makes the controversy.
Well, I'll tell you what. Thursday and Friday, we got big shows. We have IMF and WC Thursday night, 8:30. Right? We have Soldier Omen, who I thought would be here now. I was kind of wondering because I actually sent them the link. I thought they would be here by now. Soldier and Omen are going to be in the house Thursday. I believe WC, some representative will be there at that point.
Where are Omen and Soldier? They usually pop in randomly every time. Where the hell have they been?
Well, I'll have to answer that. And Friday night, we have obviously Craven Rage, worldwide return to Sportswire Radio. Some have even said, like I said, some have said, has he been filming movies? Has he been filming commercials? Has he been looking at just all different venues, avenues? I mean, some say right now, Craven Rage has been in demand all over the world. And he's decided that.
I don't know if he's been doing movies or film, man. He's definitely got a face for radio. I don't know.
That's what I have heard. Some people have said that Craven Rage basically could be the next guy in line for the Thunder in Paradise reboot. And that was my point.
Mr. Nanny.
Suburban Commandos?
This is why I have a promo. This is why I have a promo.
No holds barred.
Can y'all hear me?
Now I do. Go ahead.
He's going to be playing Zeus in the new upcoming Body Slam movie.
Go ahead, Mr. Taylor. Floor is yours.
This is why I have a promo wrestling school to help guys who think that they can talk when they
I need a lot of help in that school, by the way. I need a lot of help.
So I'm just
not
saying,
me. You need help? I'm here.
No. Hell, if anything, Craven, I can bring you on as an assistant manager or something to help get these guys to learn how to talk. But I mean, it's like a coaching session. I mean, I literally tell these guys how to get into character for real and find out who they really are instead of, or whatever they might think they are.
I was asked this question of mine. I actually wanted to bring up something here.
Sure.
We're talking about like developing and teaching and things like that. So a friend of mine reached out or like spoke to me about wanting to learn how to wrestle. Okay. And, asked about the shows and everything and all these different organizations. I got a question. Do any of these organizations actually have women wrestling?
What do you mean? The backyard ones?
Any of all these organizations, WCE, TBW, DKW, DBW.
I actually can answer that. XCW, yes. XCW actually has one women's wrestler, Trinity. She's actually very good, by the way, and she actually wrestles against the guys. She's almost like, think of her like a cross between Rhea Ripley and Abyss. She's actually very good. She actually beat Fletch recently on XCW TV. So in XCW, I can answer that for you. In XCW Shelbyville on YouTube, they have a women's wrestler, yes.
I guess that always made me curious. Like, are these rosters all men, or do they have female competitors too? Because one of the things that I've always looked at with backyard wrestling is if you can't mix that up too and blend that as well, like you're really kind of a one-sided promotion. Like you should be able to have both, both there. And I didn't know if anybody had that.
Well, XCW, I gave you the partial answer on XCW, so I hope that kind of helps. But as the other companies,
well, let me ask this question: does any of these organizations that are going to Summer Bash have any?
Well, Atomic Titan, just want to answer that for you. In TBW, we have a women's wrestler about to sign, and she'll debut in the future. So I just want to give them that. And also, Alan Michaels is no longer with TBW. He became an indie wrestler. So congratulations to Alan. I just want to bring that up. And Adonis also mentioned it. But you wanted to say something, Mr. Taylor?
Resurrection Wrestling, there's a female wrestler. She won a tag title recently. So,
well, like I said, I asked because a friend asked me, and it's not the first time. It's actually not the first time last so often years ever since I stopped with Biwa that I've actually been asked that.
Yeah, I had thought about that. And my answer was, again, also at XCW, they have an on-screen, Fletch's wife actually is on-screen the owner of the company, and she actually, is technically in real life the co-owner of the company because he owns the company. He actually, it's his company, on-screen and off-screen, but she plays an on-screen character in that company. So they kind of have that covered. As for the other companies, I couldn't speak on behalf of any of them. My only speculation would be maybe it's just based on who you get on your roster. It's hard to get people to begin with. And
I would encourage IMF and DKW to maybe try to book some of that.
Actually, I have another answer. That Legendary Backyard Wrestling has one female wrestler as well. It's Just Ice, I believe it is.
Well, that's not really having one female talent. Is not
and
really,
people would look at them and say, "Well, they're on the trampoline," but they have a female wrestler. Who
what I mean is not like having one female roster member is not really having a female roster.
Right? No, I get that, but I mean, I would have to at least give them that they do have a female on their roster. To answer your question, they actually have.
I will say this: this is actually the second time in a year. Last year, an old LCW, one of the people, a lady that used to wrestle with us here in Baltimore, back when I was doing backyard as a teenager, a girl named by the name of Susan Miller used to go by the Leprechaun Queen. That used to be her side, the Leprechaun Queen, Susan Miller. She asked me that same question about a year ago. Do you know any guys that wrestle or that will take women to wrestle, allow them to wrestle in their organizations? And that are backyard or underground. And at the time, I didn't even have an answer because a year ago I wasn't directly involved with anybody per se on a permanent basis, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of answered it. I do see your point. I think it's a fascinating question because I'll even say, because I cover the British independents, and even in the British independents, only in the last year, I would say that they've developed in these companies I wouldn't say a significant amount of women's wrestlers, but like a nice little niche of it. Whereas before, maybe you had a couple wrestlers here and there on a roster, whereas now they're starting to lay the groundwork for women's championships. GT Ministries just did a women's only show where they crowned their first ever women's champion. So, even in like the British independents, it's only really in the last, I want to say, maybe 10 months, 10, 11 months that I've seen even these women's rosters start to get deep in these companies.
We need to train one or get one in there, and then she can go beat Craven Rage.
Well, that's up to WC. I mean, listen, now I can ask Craven Rage that question for you Friday. I can certainly ask him, will there be female wrestlers being added to the roster, but he's going to tell you that's up to Mark Packer. I mean, I'll ask him that question.
Well, most of the time, in my experience, any kind of organization I've been with, if the female wrestlers were there, they were usually girlfriends or family members.
I mean, look, I don't want to blow the fourth. I'm going to get to Mr. Taylor in a second, but I don't want to blow the fourth wall. But in England, even the wrestlers that wrestle there, the boyfriend's on the roster or the husband's on the roster. And, I don't want to, say the company out because God forbid somebody, says, hey, I heard you say this. But, it's kind of the same thing even in the British independents.
Ultimately, I think it would be a good mix-up, especially for a show like Summer Bash. I just think it would be a good change-up to have.
Well, I guess, look, I think if Legendary Backyard Wrestling and XCW were to participate, you would have those. At least
probably got no soldier sitting at home right now going,
Well, let me ask you a question, though, Mr. Taylor. As we're here with the legendary Nemesis James Taylor, hanging out for about 20 or so minutes. We're here with Coach Chris Craven as well. We're doing, obviously, a whole bunch of wrestling talk and also breaking the news here that James Taylor, one more time again, has signed with the New South Pro Wrestling Company. He is now on his way to becoming an independent wrestler. You can follow him on Instagram and YouTube at Taft Taylor, Taft_Taylor on Instagram. And also, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Again, tomorrow night, right after Monday Night Raw, I'm here with pro wrestling star Vito Fratelli.
He got a cookie.
You got some echo.
Yeah, I don't think it's me.
Ain't me.
Let's try it now. Do we hear the echo now?
No.
It's on your end, Coach. I'll bring you back on in a second. Until I answer. Now you're off mic. Okay. Can we hear you now? Okay.
My mic keeps muting.
Hold on. That's better.
I'll be back.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you the question then, James, which I want to ask you. We'll give Coach a chance to spend a few more minutes with us. What are your goals in the independents?
To exactly what the shirt says, to leave my mark. It's exactly what my song says, to leave my mark in the indie world. I'm going to go in there and have a blast, absolute 100% respect, and gain the respect of my peers and show the world, not only in the backyard community, but now the indie world and all the other bigger promotions that are out there, that age doesn't matter, and that I got what it takes to survive and thrive.
Let me ask you a follow-up to that. You have not had a world title in 14 years. Now, that's obviously a big topic. I don't know if you're going to get there in TBW. That's up to TBW. I mean, obviously, we'll have more TBW coverage in the future. And, you say you're a part of that roster still, so I'll certainly let that sort itself out. And if you go to other companies in the backyard scene or underground scene, I'll let that self sort it out. But do you think in the independents, can you come closer to going back to the mountain one more time and holding a world title for something you have not done now in almost a decade and a half?
I really believe truly in my heart, when it comes with anybody, I mean, hell, Chris Craven here could do it again probably if he wanted to, that when you go into the indie scene, it's a completely different atmosphere than backyard wrestling. The rest of the time that I have in TBW will really determine how I honestly feel about backyard wrestling. By the time December comes, we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for that. But I will let out my honest opinion on how backyard wrestling really is and what it's like today compared to what it was in the yesteryear, back in the day when we first started doing it. Totally different world now. But I believe in the indie world, though, that you've got more of a chance of really seeing how the politics work, but also to prove yourself to your peers, to the locker room, to the guys that run the show. And that's where the respect is. And they show more respect to people who put in the work. When you're in companies that you put in the work, but they don't show you the respect back and give back to you, that's why. Yeah.
Let me ask you one follow-up, and I want to bring Coach right back in here as we'll spend a little while more on the show. And I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. I also want to wish a happy birthday to a very good friend of mine, Mr. Steven Saperstein, who was one of my first ever guests way back in the Skype days on Sportswire Radio. He is celebrating his 39th birthday, just like you, Mr. Taylor. He has turned 39 years old. And Steve, I hope you have a great day. He was golfing earlier today, a big supporter of mine, longtime friend, also one of my former employers. So I want to wish him a very happy birthday. So thank you, Steve. I know he's not listening to this right now, so I'm sure he'll be fine with that. And also say hello to Anastasia Riznia, who's getting her travel business on the way. So she's out there in California. Say hello to her. So I want to ask you, though, something, Mr. Taylor, about the independents, and I'm curious your thoughts. And I'll come back to Coach, as I promised. We speak a lot about the fact that in backyard, though, you've got this wide audience. And in the independents, sometimes you don't get to own your own intellectual property, your own intellectual content. Are you concerned, though, in a way, as crazy as it may sound to you, that you might get used worse in the independents than you have in the backyard, or get less fans or less followers? I mean, what do you say to something like that?
No, not at all.
Why?
I know it's a completely different atmosphere. And it really, you're a gear in a system. The gears don't go no matter what. I'm going to go into that machine, and I'm going to work. I'm going to become a worker. But I know what it's like to try and reach for that proverbial brass ring, and I'm going to do it. Because one thing I've already got that a lot of these younger guys don't have is a good mouth to just talk a whole bunch of shit.
You do. I tell you what, you are one of the greatest talkers of all time. I mean, there's no question in the backyard scene. You have shown yourself to do that. But, Coach, am I missing something on that point that in a backyard company or an underground company, you got the wider audience, you go to the indies, you're dealing with the politics again, promoters look at it, and the first thing the promoter says to you, are you going to come in and job? Are you going to job? Because the promoters don't trust the new talent. The promoters might look at James Taylor, and he might be this household draw. He might be this guy with 76,000 followers. But the promoters looking at it like this guy is a newbie. He should go put over my guys, my lesser known guys who might not have the skills, might not have the right frame, can't draw a fly, but they just want to play what they want to look for. And they see James Taylor's for one way or another. And am I wrong in saying some of those
Well,
things?
there's a lot that goes into that. Like a promoter, if a promoter isn't one of these guys that are out there playing favorites to his handful of hand-picked guys in the locker room, and he's trying to give everybody a fair shake, then yeah, if it's a fair shake, if he's drawing crowds, if he's getting over, if he's getting a pop, sure, there's a chance with him grinding. Yeah, there could be escalation up the ladder. But if you got anybody that you're dealing with that, for example, has favoritism or is biased, or even if you rub someone the wrong way, you get a bad reputation. It happens. Not saying that you would directly go in the locker room and piss someone off, but if someone even takes you the wrong way, that is up there, that does this, it's politics. It's all red. It's a whole lot of political red tape. You could very well walk in there and they look at you and go, well, all right, you're a new guy. You're green. In our eyes, you're green. So you're going to job for a year. My best advice to you is to say, yes, sir. And then go out in the ring and show them how hard you can grind. Because a lot of promoters will say that to you. And I know a lot of guys that they've had that said to them, and they've gone out there and they've shit the bed. And then I know a lot of guys that have gone out there and they say, all right, this guy wants me to job for a year. Let me see if I can
Listen, one promoter, I don't want to say the promoter's name, and it's in England.
Like I said, there's guys that'll go out there and be like, okay, this guy told me to job for a year. Let me change his mind. Let me show him why he's got to change his mind.
100%. And that's why I brought that up, because like I said, and I don't want to say this promoter's name, but there's one promoter I know on the other side of the world, and he went to one wrestler who's like a James Taylor. He's got a big following, very well known. He's liked. He's got charisma, checks the boxes just like you, James Taylor. And, one of the first things he went and said, well, I hear through the grapevine he doesn't want to play ball. He doesn't want to put people over. So I'm just saying it's out there. I'm not going to say that person's name is.
Trust me. See, I've been in the game long enough. I know exactly what that's like, and I've experienced it in the backyard world. I have had that little undefeated streak. I'll let you talk, Craven. 1 second. I got to make that point. I had an undefeated streak, but that's how I was booked. Didn't say that I needed it that way. Yes, I'm particular when it comes to my matches, but I don't care about winning or losing. It's a matter of the story that I'm telling. Because the number one thing, from the time you go through the curtain into the ring and the time you go back through the curtain, you're telling a story in that squared circle, and that's what I'm about. I want to tell a story. I don't care if I'm losing. I guarantee you I'm going to get the biggest pop of the night, whether it's me getting my ass kicked by the ultimate babyface or if he's the ultimate heel and he still gets one over on me. I'm going to make sure that crowd says, damn, did you see that son of a bitch, James?
And you better make sure you stay coming out to burn Halo. You better make sure, James Taylor, that you don't get bamboozled and have to change your music.
You're a little bit over when you come out to the ring, even at an indie show like I did, and the people sing along to your song. Because when they're doing that, you got them a little bit hooked.
And Jason's
another thing you have to consider that, Coach. I want you to. I'm not knocking on you. I want you to. You're going to go in there. You're going to sign. I want you to take every ounce of, every pound of information you can get. You also have to consider this. You're also almost a 40-year-old man,
right?
And no, it's not a knock at you. It's a legitimate thing I've actually seen happen. So you're almost such and such age, right? You're going to go into a locker room that may have 60% of the roster, 70% of the roster, maybe guys right out of wrestling school from 18, 19, 20s, early 20s, mid 20s. You're going to have a lot of guys, depending on how the locker room is. I don't know the company that well. So depending on how the locker room is, there are locker rooms out there where those guys are, think of it like the Attitude Era. It's cutthroat. Everybody's after your spot. Everybody thinks you're after their spot. They'll smile at you 1 minute and then stab you and then run your face to the promoter or the booker the next minute. You're also, like I said, you're also almost 40 years old. You're there, and some young guy coming in, or some young guy that's been doing it for like 2 years, is going to look at you like, who's this old guy's trying to take my spot? Who's this old? Like, and I'm just trying to say, these are some of the politics you got to understand. Like, even with me, with my experience, when I was 20 years old and I went into Bone Breakers and I went to MCW, I was a pretty good wrestler. Like, I was nowhere near as broken and beat down as I am today, or I have been in the last decade. I was really fast and really good. Mm-hmm. And I got turned into a jobber over 4 years and maybe had, a dozen matches in 4 years. Mm-hmm. And it was because of the politics. It was the timing. I was the right size.
Well, that's why I bring that up. I mean, listen, that's why I brought that up, because, James Taylor, you are going to – I actually think you might have to deal with that because of who you are. You got a big following. You are a certain name. You got the podcast.
You're also coming from the backyard.
I was about to get to that next. You're coming from the yard. And, there are guys – listen, I'm going to say it out there on Facebook. I had posted something about a wrestler and wrestler photos. Share your photos, right? And maybe some people posted it, and one of the guys from Legendary Backyard Wrestling posted something from him on the trampoline. And I don't want to say the wrestlers' names, their real names, because they were people that came on my show, and they gave the poor guy a hard time, Chris Aruda. And meanwhile, one of the guys who gave him a hard time, and I like the guy. He's been on my show like 9 times. I don't want to say his name. But the dude got injured off like a stupid move and wrestled a guy who had his first career match. So you only got like 15 matches as a pro, and you're considered to be an unsafe worker, and you're knocking this poor guy who just posted a photo of himself on a trampoline. That's all I'm saying. So you're going to deal with a lot of these guys, because I'm seeing it now that I'm covering the backyard wrestling. I'm seeing the certain guys in the different promotions that are looking at, you're talking to backyarders. Yeah, I'm talking to him because it's all wrestling that matters. My
advice with that, don't bring up backyard wrestling unless you're asked and it's a positive question.
Absolutely.
They bring it up in a positive way.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna take no shit from anybody. I'm gonna be 100% respectful. I'm gonna smile and nod. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do. If they want me to job, fuck it, I'll have them. I'll job. I plan on going out there and I'll be the best jobber they've ever seen.
No. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to rewind you for a minute. You said I'm not going to take no shit from nobody. Wrong mentality to have.
No.
Hold on. You eat that shit sandwich with every bite like you enjoy it until you show them a reason to give you the cheese sandwich. And then you go to the cheese sandwich, and then you get to the roast beef sandwich.
I get it to an extent, I do, but also because of my age and where I'm at in my life, I don't have to have this. I'm doing this because I want to say that I did it, and also I'm not trying to look to go to WWE or nothing like that, like the younger guys. I really want to just go in onto the scene to say that I've been there and have fun and gain the respect of my peers. And if they want me to job and only do like maybe a dozen matches in a whole year's time, then I'll say bye-bye to them if that's their plan. But from what I've talked with these guys and how they are and how respectful they are, and they've already known who I am. They even watch Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. They're actually fans of
Atomic Titan made that point.
Okay. So that's one thing I do got on it. They've already seen what I can do. That's one reason why I got the call. I've got the call, and then it's just, I'm not going to go in there and think I know everything. I know better than that.
I didn't say that. I just want you to, you're going, okay, so I've been where you're at. I've gotten that call. I've gotten that invitation. I've done what you're about to do. So I'm just trying to help you out with some insight because I know what it is. Now, I will say this. There is a difference to my information versus what you're going to get. Timing.
Yeah.
When I did it, you're talking early 2000s.
Yeah.
Times have changed. A lot of people have changed the way they do things, but there are some that didn't. I wish you the best. And like I said before, grind, learn, and enjoy it.
Damn right.
And speaking of pro wrestlers who are trying to grind or trying to be pro wrestlers, Daniel Banner, the cosplay kid, who says, hello, gents. How is everyone? Obviously, Daniel is on his way learning. He has a long way to go in learning, but he is definitely doing that. He's obviously part of GT Ministries. He trains every Thursday in the Fountains Church in Bradford. And you can go to GT Ministries UK for more coverage there. So he says, how is everyone? Doing good. Also, politics is huge in wrestling. Yeah, I mean, and I always tell people all the time, James Taylor, I come from the real world of politics. So, when you guys talk about these stories, I always say, well, I was there and sat in a chair, the seat that the guy that was there before when I got a job, got convicted and went to jail for bribery. And I've had these phone calls where the people will call me from an unmarked number. And, there's somebody else that I was quoted talking with and they got arrested for corruption. So, I've seen all that stuff in the real world where you're on a campaign, they try to do this stuff. So to me, this is like second nature. But I want to say hello to somebody that is a very good friend. It's a Sportswire with the guys who invade all of the other Sportswire interviews, meaning, haha, I want to say hello to this special person because he is obviously somebody that you know very well, James Taylor, or related. How should I put this in a better way? Somebody he's related to somebody you've wrestled before. He's related to that person you wrestled in TBW. He was a part of TBW. That person's name that this individual is friends with is Jack Delta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so obviously, you remember?
Yeah,
you remember wrestling a guy named Jack Delta? You remember?
Yeah, I know. What's up, Mr. Kyle? And
I was trying to kindly tell you that he might be related to Mr. Delta. So I was trying to.
I know who he is.
You do. You have any memories? Any nice memories to share with him?
Yeah, I dropped him on his head and. I almost got a 1, 2, 3.
Well, he would tell you though he got that 1, 2, 3 though. He would tell you that he got the pin, but he obviously just was kind of laughing and saying hello. And I want to hope that he's doing well out there.
I'm sure he's he'll definitely. Good luck to you out there, kids.
Yes, absolutely. Love. Obviously, that individual who's related or may know that individual named Jack Delta. I was trying to, kind of do it tongue in cheek. And Daniel would like to say grinding and binding, clanging and banging, putting in the work, getting ready for Wrestle Week on the 21st, right? Because that's next weekend or the next weekend there in GT Ministries. Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, so you know what then? I'm gonna go to a few more minutes here on sports.
Wait, I thought you had another surprise. You got another visitor?
My surprise was supposed to be Omen and Soldier, and they didn't show up.
Did they call out? That's not.
I gave them the link. I don't know. I mean, maybe they had timing issues.
The
good news is, Coach, we're gonna see them on Thursday. They're gonna be here in the chair to lead off. They're here Thursday night. And maybe you'll want to address them because it looks to me that they have more members of the foundation, Coach.
Do I got to go show some cupcakes or something on the screen to get them to tune in?
Well, maybe the application you filled in, maybe they're getting a third look at the application for Summer Bash.
Yeah, I want to know who these other foundation. I'm applying. I want to know what I'm getting myself into. I applied, but I want to know who these other people.
Well, we know Dirty Donnie is the newest member of the foundation.
I thought they were fighting Dirty Donnie. This is a little corrupt.
And then Nicholas Crenson might be joining the foundation.
Oh, not Pee Wee.
Well, if you watch the show between IMF and WC, there was a teaser certain people put out for those that might be in the know, and it looks like Mr. Crenson might be joining the foundation. He's going to
don't need an overabundance of ketchup in the locker room. Jesus Christ!
So you're not thrilled with Mr. Crenson maybe joining the foundation? You wouldn't be.
Oh no, yeah, we'll see.
But we're going to see you Thursday as well. You're going to be here with us Thursday. So I mean,
I swear to God, if they tell me Craven Rage is a part, I take that as betrayal.
Well, Friday night, Craven Rage is here. We're going to see you on Friday night as well. In fact, we're getting you Thursday night, Friday night, and we're getting you Saturday night with Anthony Steele. So we're going to see you 3 consecutive nights.
Yeah, respectfully, if you can.
Yes.
Bring me on sooner. It's a lot more fun.
What's that?
Bring me on sooner. It's a lot more fun.
Well, tomorrow I have Vito Fratelli, who's a pro wrestler in California. It's basically a spot with the promoter. So that's
no, with the other ones at the end of the week.
Oh, well, you're in all the. I have Brandon Caselli of DBW, which is I would say I'm going just Brandon, but I'm not on the air Wednesday. I'm doing basketball Wednesday, but I'm here Thursday, Friday, Saturday consecutive. So you're going to be here 3 nights in a row.
No, in the show, during the show, bring me on earlier so I can have more fun.
Well, you're going to be here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the show. You're going to be here on the air. What more should I have said? And Monday, by the way, you might be on James' show tomorrow. CJ Black is live.
I'm on James' show tomorrow?
No,
he never asked me.
That's up to James. But
he was not polite. He was not a gentleman. He didn't ask me. He didn't say nothing.
Well, when would you like to be on my show again, Mr. Raven?
I don't know. I might be washing my clothes or something. I don't
know. Tomorrow James' show is on before me because I'm doing it later because I have Vito Fratelli from California. It's a totally different. And now, if you want to watch as a fan and comment, please, Vito Fratelli. If you look at this guy, he's a star. But I'm not here on a backyard spot until Brandon. I have we have DBW Tuesday. We have that, and then I'm here Thursday.
Jason Storm's comment.
All right. LOL, I just noticed the real Craven tag. I'll say this, you ain't ever lied.
Nope.
And Daniel would like to say you'll see a lot of surprises and some excited stuff from the cosplay kid very soon. And it's the cosplay way. Okay.
Cool.
Great. I appreciate that very much. James Taylor, is there anything else you want to say before I get to closing thoughts? Anything else you're in mind you want to address? Anything else that I should bring up? Well, I still have a voice over the next few minutes.
Yeah. Just, stay tuned and keep watching. Keep being a fan. Watch TBW and stay tuned.
And Promo Wrestling Federation is starting up again, I heard on Friday's show, correct?
Yes, Promo Wrestling Federation will be starting back up within the next week's time for sure. I'm putting a few more things together to get that situated and going. We're going to be coming up on our third annual, it's WrestleMania type pay-per-view, but it's called Defiance 3. So I know it's 2K outside of real wrestling, but I
heard you and Darkron speak about it. So that's why I wanted to give you a plug on that. I wanted to make sure that you got a plug on that. And I think Darkron seemed kind of interested in them. By the way, what a great guy Darkron was. Darkron, he is really off the air. Just I think one of the nicest guys I think I've ever spoke to in wrestling. I got to be honest, man. I love both you guys, but Darkron, just what a nice guy. Really want to root for this guy. Hearing his story, talking about the fact that, he and obviously Mr. Forsaken grew up as wrestling fans, Shawn Michael and Bret Hart, and basically talking about wrestling each other and how much they loved wrestling and they thought they would never do it again. And here they are. They just reached out and IMF kind of made all this happen. And here they are speaking to all these great people. That's why I love Darkron. I love connecting people through wrestling, as Chris Parkhurst, my friend, would say. Daniel would like to say he'd love to have a good conversation with both you guys. I'll connect off the air, Daniel, to you guys.
He's ready to go? Put him on.
No. Off the air. I'll explain to you off the air. No, we're off the air. I'll explain that to you off the air.
That's understandable.
Off the air. I have instructions on that. So I'm just going to tell you instructions from a higher up. That's all.
I got you. No, okay. I get it. You don't have to say anything. I get it.
But Daniel, I love Daniel, and I love to keep commenting him. So how about having fellow podcasters or outsiders just looking? Would love to have you. Yeah, definitely. I would love to go on people's shows, but like my schedule, I would love to have you on Sportswire, but for me to go on other people's shows, like I got to be totally honest, I have like so many requests right now from people to come on Sportswire. Like it's like my head explodes. Like that's why when Coach messaged me like, "Hey, what's the schedule?" Like I barely have time to sit down. But I would love to have you come on. Yes, you can definitely come on Sportswire if you can. Message me on Instagram at the Sports Report 2021 or message me on Facebook at Tom Bryce. You'll send me a request, send me a follow on Instagram, and I'll get you on next month. I would love to get you on. I just don't have any time to go on anybody's podcast right now because
what if I started one on like Saturday mornings, like Saturday morning cartoons, and I got you on there?
I once in a while try to sleep, but yeah, by all means, start a podcast. At this point, listen, that means I
don't have all the technical equipment that you have for this.
Actually, and by the way, on that, James, you'll appreciate it. I'm actually getting new equipment tomorrow. I have a new lighter. I have a new light stand. I have a new a new USB cable. I have another stand. So yes, I actually am getting new equipment
And you
tomorrow.
save it for when you interviewed me?
I actually tried to do that, but unfortunately, Amazon didn't ship it today. It shipped it tomorrow. So
Just
you know.
mess with you. It's
Yeah,
fine.
Amazon. Listen, trust me. But the next time you come on, you'll probably be on later in the week. The equipment will be up. That's the good news.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and more equipment's on
I
the
want
way.
to see like you had the Larry King mic in front of you.
Yes. Well, I bought it. Well, speaking of that, very quickly, I bought a new mic, and I plugged the new mic in last week when I did a SummerSlam show, and the mic didn't work. So I just went back to the old mic, but bought a new USB. So yes,
No,
new.
I have a Yeti mic, but phone whenever I'm doing this. I need to get the Yeti mic hooked up to my computer and start doing it off my computer.
Yeah, so I have new stuff on the way, so you'll see those things probably tomorrow. But yeah, TBK, please message me. Definitely love to hear from you. Email me as well. And Daniel wants to say yes. When Mr. Angel says you're ready, he's the promoter and the boss of your company. When he says you're ready, that's when you know you're ready. And that's why I love you, Daniel Banner. But, Coach, I want to give you closing thoughts. Anything you want to plug, share, say? Obviously, going to see you a lot later this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on the show. Anything you might want to say? Anything out there to the world? And the floor is yours, my good friend.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to Mr. Phillips today, Judgment. I was trying to.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll happen. And hopefully if it happens and everything takes.
Are we going to see you live on the show the 23rd in attendance?
I will be there at the show. As far as being in action, I hope that will follow at some point in the future.
Okay.
Maybe I will make a return way prior to the Summer Bash.
Well,
which is ultimately the goal. Try to get some of this, rust off, However, I will say that on top of that, I know that I got to get out to, you guys are going to get the DKW guys on. I don't know if there's a way to do that in sometime in the next few months, few weeks, whatever, but I definitely got to get out to Ohio. I got to get out to, Darkron and all that. And well,
if you heard James's show, I think Darkron mentioned he's going to make a trip to Wisconsin in a couple of weeks.
Well, I got to try to make it out there because I spoke to these guys personally off air on phone, and I told them that I would try to get out there by the end of the summer. It's not looking like that may happen. It may happen sometime in the fall, or maybe if it gets too cold, it might have to wait until the spring. But I wanted to get out there and work with them on their fundamentals, work with them on their basics, try to help them get prepared for Summer Bash prior to going out. And if anybody else that has real training wants to coordinate with me and go out there with me, we can get, maybe a couple of us out there to work with them and help them get ready. They did. They reached out to me and they asked, like, what do you think? Give us your opinion. Can you help us out here, here, and here? And I told them, yeah, I have no problem with that. It's just getting out there on a random weekend, just driving out there, which isn't really that difficult. It's just really timing, both theirs and mine.
Sure.
But if I could get Mr. Taylor, or if I could get even Steele, or if I could get one of these guys from IMF.
Well, Steele, I got to be honest, Saturday and Friday, those two shows, I feel like those are going to be shows where it's really going to be like a rage against the machine between Craven Rage and
about getting somebody out there, even if it was Havoc, like getting somebody that actually had some real training to come out and help me do this with these guys.
Hey, whenever I join this, I'll have even the real training as well on top of my experience. So I'll be able to, I could help you probably too.
Well, my point is, guys like Craven Rage and Anthony Steele, for them to train and help or take any training, they have to survive the next two shows they're going to be on. Because I have a feeling that these two guys are going to be dealing with a lot of talk, a lot of shots fired at them, especially Craven Rage and Anthony Steele. Those guys are going to be, they're going to be facing
Steele I don't know about, or I missed or something like.
I don't know.
Question.
Something happened with Steele that I missed?
Nothing happened. It's just that's his name. I mean, Anthony, to me, he's a good guy.
I like Anthony, but a lot of people you know,
a lot of people are indifferent of him. I'm not going to sit here and shade on him because I know him personally, but in the wrestling world, you know, he gets a lot of hate. But that's just his story and everything. You'd have to talk to him more about it.
he's here Saturday, so we'll get a chance to hear how he's doing. So we'll certainly find out.
I get that. Like, you mentioned these two. Like you said, Craven Rage and Steel. Like,
Craven Rage is a different.
Craven Rage.
Yeah, Craven Rage is a different one. It's just a matter of like
I get the Rage part. I get Rage is it like that the part about Rage, but I didn't know if there was something that went on with Steel that was developing that was something he's going to get heat for.
Well, I mean, let's just say he's a very polarizing figure. The term is he's very polarizing.
In the backyard world, he's kind of got the same credit towards him in a different light than what Craven Rage has.
Craven Rage, I'll be honest, like off the air, is a really nice guy. I really will not badmouth Craven Rage on and off the air. Anthony Steele, though, if you ask people about him, he's going to get a different discussion. But we'll certainly see all of that. Mr. Taylor,
you're going to see me wrestle him at Summer Bash. Remember, he wants a 30-minute submission Iron Man match.
Well, listen, let's see. He's in the Indies. So he's in the Indies now. Let's see what's on his mind Saturday night.
If he doesn't show up after talking that shit that last time we and I were on here together, I ain't never going to let him live that shit down.
Well, you know what? He was supposed to be here tonight, but I really wanted James on because James had an announcement, and Anthony, we had a scheduling conflict, so we didn't really have coordination, so we're going to do it next Saturday. But James Taylor, I want to give you the floor. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And what an honor it has been to have you as always. Always love. I get goosebumps. When I hear the name James Taylor, I get fired up like there's no tomorrow. So I give you the final shots. Anything else you want to plug, share, say off this historic day for you. One of the greatest days in your wrestling career. The floor is yours, James Taylor. Try to top it.
Be sure to follow me on my Instagram, _Taylor or _Taylor. Same exact thing on TikTok. Give me a follow if you haven't yet here on YouTube, _Taylor. Got more content coming to you. I just, I'm here to just live it and have fun and entertain. That's one of my favorite things I've ever wanted to do. Hey, Bryn, thank you, by the way. And yes, I am going to give it right here. All credit to this image right here, this logo that is created because I love the way it is. Goes to Mr. Bryn right there. So hit him up if you want. But Bryn, definitely message me whenever you get a chance on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, because I need to get with you whenever I hit that indie scene. So anyways, other than that, he might be my logo maker, so you never know, because this right here I thought was so cool.
Man, it reminds me of, listen, Click This Podcast. Got the Click This Podcast logo look. This is a mighty fine podcast logo, wrestling shirt, you name it. Look, Bren is the man. No, it's not James is the man. Yes, James is the man, but Bren is the man. He is the logo man. We're going to call him the logo man.
I kind of think he knew that I like Ninja Turtles or something, because TMNT and my name, he pointed this out, TNJT.
And that's what I said. I thought automatically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I saw Mutant Mayhem twice, and I have a feeling I'm going to buy 2 of those shirts when they're available. Turtle Power, baby. Right. It's going to be Taylor Power. Taylor Power all the way.
I say what you want about all the new Turtle movies. I still go back to the original classics from like 89 and 90.
The first Ninja Turtles movie was an unbelievable movie. That movie was like, there you go.
This one, and this one's my personal favorite.
Turtles 2?
Yeah.
Turtles and Secret of the Ooze was those were that.
But Turtles 2 didn't have the same oomph that Turtles 1 had. Turtles.
What are you talking about? They had Talker and Razor. They had super.
No, the first Ninja Turtles was dark. It was like raw.
Yeah, I know.
It was like, to me, New York at that time. It was just a perfect movie. Turtles 2 was good. I'm not saying it was bad, but I didn't like it as much as Ninja Turtles.
I love Turtles 1. Who don't love the first one? I swear.
The first one was amazing.
Yes, dark. I like the darkness. This one, they brought a little more light to it, but it was still just as good. But I got to test your knowledge real quick, Tom.
All right.
you know? Don't say anything if you do, Craven. But do you know who played Super Shredder in this movie?
Kevin Nash.
Look at you! Look at you! We're talking wrestling.
I also know that the actor that played Keno was also in the Donatello suit.
Yes.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
Yes.
Ernie Reyes Jr.
And my favorite turtle. Did I ever tell y'all who my favorite turtle is?
Splinter.
Close.
The female turtle from the TV show that they mixed with Power Rangers.
Come on, man. Come on. I'm as
It was
old.
the light blue headband.
Which turtle do you think is James Taylor's actual favorite?
Donatello.
Nobody ever could guess it, huh?
To Donatello, we said.
What do you think, Tom?
Raphael.
It's Donatello for real.
Right.
I just figured he liked the stick. No.
I will say this: Ninja Turtles. To me, it was like Batman and Ninja Turtles. To me, Batman, Ninja Turtles, compared to Batman Returns and Secret of the Ooze, it was like the same thing. I liked Batman Returns. I liked Secret of the Ooze, but they just weren't as good as those first ones. They just weren't. They just
Well, it was
never.
like you were saying, 1 was dark, 2 had a little bit more light to it. 3 was like it was brighter than spotlights.
Don't knock 3, but 3. Of course, 3 wasn't the best, but this actually.
You know what I was mad about in Ninja Turtles 3? You ready for this? April O'Neil cut her hair. She had short hair. I didn't like the short hair look.
But I have to say, y'all have to agree. Hopefully, y'all agree. This one was better than those Michael Bay movies.
Yeah, and April O'Neil was a different actress in 2 and 3 than it was in the first one. I wish they just kept the original actor.
Listen, April O'Neil in the first one, oh my God, she was gorgeous. She was perfect.
She played it right. She did.
She was amazing.
And you're right, Michael Bay. Like,
we're getting like more people tuning in now because they're hearing Ninja Turtles.
There are just some movies you need to leave alone, and like. Not everything.
To me, it was the same with Batman. Listen, I thought Batman Returns was not as good as Batman. I thought
I agree. 89 Batman was the best Batman, even to this.
I went with Batman up until Clooney played it, and then that's like when.
I came back to Batman. Like, I thought Christian Bale did a good job. I thought he.
Well, what I mean is, I liked Keaton. I liked both Keaton's films. I liked Kilmer. He did all right. He didn't do bad. He did all right.
I actually liked Batman Forever more than Batman Returns. I see Batman. I didn't see those. I did. Well, because you have to remember, I'm younger than you guys. So the first movie I saw in the theater was Batman Forever. I didn't see the first 2.
Yeah, so Batman Forever while it was different. It brought a new element in it. You got Robin that was brought in.
You had Drew Barrymore was in it. Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Chris O'Donnell, Nicole Kidman was great. That was a good cast. I thought.
Yeah, it was. It made for a good movie. But with like George Clooney, I'm half ready to start having. When I saw him in Batman and Robin, the first thing when is he going to start reciting ER lingo? Like, dude,
George Clooney was not the right Batman. That killed it for a long time, and that's what they had.
Well, we went to Christian Bale, right? And then we went to Christian
Bale was good. Yeah, he was good.
The Batman Begins was an awesome Batman film.
Yes.
And then as in Dark Knight, that wasn't the Dark Knight. They might as well just call that movie the Joker. That is the original The Joker movie.
I saw the Joker, the 2019 one, the Joaquin Phoenix in the theaters, which I was
and
like.
And then by the time you got to Dark Knight Rises, it's like everybody couldn't stand Bale's Batman voice.
Yeah.
My very first movie I ever saw when I was in theaters was the first Turtles. So that
was just a great movie.
Here you go. The first movie I ever saw in theaters, The Addams Family.
Okay,
91, right? 91
Addams Family movie.
Okay.
With Christina Ricci and Christopher Lloyd and.
So. I'll go real quick. We'll get off the movie subject. I'm sorry. That was actually.
Yeah, because I do want to get to closing thoughts, but God.
Come on, man. What's wrong with movies?
I'm a movie
everything,
guy, but I don't have much of a voice.
Yeah, he don't got much of a voice. But yeah, just give me a follow on all those platforms and stay tuned to what I do because I will be vlogging and blogging and everything that I'm going to be doing when
And you know I'll be plugging it on Sportzwire. I'll be plugging it well. You know it.
I
Plug it in.
I might be able to get you some interviews with some of those New South
Well,
guys.
you know, on Sportswire, I'm the guy to do it. I get messages left and right. I even got one today from a random person. I get them all the time, and I do want to say hello to Skulls. Actually, the reason I do want to say hello to Skulls, he's actually doing some work for a company that we're going to be promoting tomorrow, the Valley Wrestling Connection. So I want to make sure I do signal. Skulls is doing some security work. I think he's doing some security and volunteer work. So good stuff with that. Yeah, Turtles, great movies. Mutant Mayhem, do go out and see it. I saw Gran Turismo yesterday. Really enjoyed that. That was a good movie. Really, really good movie. Meg 2 I'm seeing apparently with Jason Statham. I'm seeing that. And I'm a big movie guy. So next time we'll talk movies when I have a little more of a voice. But ladies and gentlemen, we were joined here by the legend.
Everybody's waiting for Deadpool 3.
Yes,
everybody's waiting for that one.
We were joined here by the coach. Some may say, depending on who you are, the real Craven, Chris Craven, of course, the legendary B was star in more MCW. He's been it all. And we were here with.
Why do you go through all that extra? Just say the real Chris Craven.
Because there's going to be some people that might say, like Craven Rage, that he's the real Craven.
Who?
It's like, I'm the real Craven. I'm the real Craven. Please stand
Who, his
up.
mama?
No. I'm going to see him Friday, just like I'm going to see you Friday. It's going to be fun. You know you'll be there. I'll be there. And, of course, the legendary James Taylor, who announced that he is going to be one of the new signees of New South Pro Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook at New South Pro Wrestling. Also, Twitter, New South _PW. He's on Instagram as well and YouTube, Taff_Taylor and IG. Also, YouTube, Taff Taylor. And I am the near voiceless, the Reverend Tom Bryce. I'll be here tomorrow, right after Monday Night Raw, with Vito Fratelli, the belt collector, the made man, the Sicilian powerhouse, the luchador mafioso is going to be here to talk a lot about all things related to wrestling. So if you're not going to be there, as I would say from my stomping grounds in Brooklyn and Staten Island, you're going to forget about it because you're going to be here with the Vito. Because I tell you, I know a lot of Vitos, but this guy is a guy you're going to want to tune into. If you're on sportnarium.com/play, going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube and Twitter, I'll be back tomorrow. And also one more time, James Taylor, Nemesis Sessions, CJ Black, right before I go on the air. Check it out. Tune in because I know Coach will be there. I'm sure a lot of other familiar faces. Go check that out. CJ Black, I'm sure, will have a few things to say. Be there or be square. Thank you, everybody. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. The number one global radio station that is Sportswire